I can hear it. I'm telling you, I can.
What's wrong?
It's hurting them.
Boy, what the fuck is going on? Hey, Sarah, talk to me.
The man in yellow, quite a calm and violent fellow. What's with the stick, the dress, and the case? Do any of those things get you out of this place? From vile nightmares, mysteries to solve. Who is the man plaguing this town? Dead friends, loved ones, strange voices on the phone. A radio tower made from hope. A storm came in and crashed it down. And crashed it down. The man in yellow, what a strange fellow. Shifting, haunting, is he deal making? Jim didn't listen, now his throat is missing. Why you digging that hole?
No! Got it? No! Fucking get it now!
From vile nightmares, mysteries to solve. Who is the man plaguing this town? Dead friends, loved ones, strange voices on the phone. A radio tower made from hope. A storm came in and crashed it down. Crashed it down. Glamorous thoughts.
And what is up, everyone? Welcome, Fromily, to Friday Night Fever. That's right, it's Friday, it's the weekend. We're one day closer to the next episode. And I'm excited, and I cannot wait to have all of you guys join us on panel tonight. That's right, it's open panel night. So I'm going to drop the link here in just a little bit, and anyone and everyone is welcome to hang out and talk some From with us. It can be just random theories. It could be on this week's episode. Just anything From in general that you guys want to hang out and kind of give us your thoughts and theories about. But yeah, so and then after that, of course, we're gonna hang out further for Fever After Dark, where things will get a little bit spicier. I got some clips, I got some bits, and we got some tongue twisters. We're gonna see how many of you guys are good with your tongues and pronouncing sounds in the English language. Educational. What, Dana? There might be some peppers, a clam, and a fuzzy bear.
I'm from New York. English is hard enough for me.
Wait, you got this, because Fuzzy Wuzzy was a bear.
Yeah, fuck Fuzzy.
Whoa. Well, I mean,
I'm cranky. I can't garden, so I'm cranky. Like I'm still cold. I don't like it.
I'm sorry, Dana. I was gonna say, how are you doing, Dana? But apparently, other than that, which is frustrating, I ain't gonna lie, I already got tomatoes. Okay,
how are we still in the 50s?
The corn
what's
is doing its thing, Dana. Like it's got the little, golden crowns now, and it's about to do its swaying motion. I got snow peas. I got peppers. I got bits. And poor Dana, she's like, when will it stop being fucking cold? We're getting ready for second harvest. No, I'm just kidding.
I haven't even had a first harvest. My tomatoes are so big. They're in the dining room, just looking out the window, free me. Free me.
I'm sorry. But hopefully it will warm up for you guys real soon. and you will get all your plants in the ground, and before you know it, your melons will be busting.
I hope so.
I know they will be.
Otherwise, I'm gonna be cranky.
Oh yeah, and happy early. Your birthday is on Mother's Day. I know I saw that up there earlier, Miss Heather. What was it? Yes, here it is. I found it. Say happy early birthday, and yeah, Captain, you want to sing her a song later? I have no problem with it. And again, you guys are more than welcome to join on panel. I will have all of that set up for you guys in just a minute. Why is it? Is it just me, Dana, or is StreamYard looking weird?
You didn't see the update when you first popped in that they changed stuff again.
Oh, is that what they mean when it says you can see which ones you've already highlighted?
Yes.
Oh, sorry,
Yes.
guys. Look, man, it's hard enough on this damn thing. So you're thinking there's something wrong with my computer.
So now when you
Goddamn.
click on the comment, it stays somewhat dark, so you know you've already clicked it.
Yeah, but I'm following now. That's right. The busted melons. We're fingers crossed. Pray for Dana's garden and the weather so she can have some busted melons this season.
Yes.
You know, because we recycle around here, and Dana recycles things so that her melons have great support. It's Dana's secret garden.
Yes.
Victoria don't know got anything on Dana's.
Nope. Nothing.
But again, welcome everyone. Welcome James, who is just hanging out while we gab. How you doing, hun?
I'm all right.
You hanging in there?
Can't complain at the moment too much anyway.
How's the weather been?
It's been all right.
Did you get rain?
A couple days ago.
I tell you, the sky fell out on us today. I got nature shower. I would say it was great until then, Dana, when you go inside like the car or your house and the AC's on, it's not fun anymore. It's really cold. It's not fun at all.
Ready to do some theory talking?
Oh, yeah. Let's see who we got hanging with us. I know I saw Captain coming in first. I know you'll be hanging out with us later. So welcome. And of course, Miss Heather, again, happy early birthday. I hope you have a great weekend. I'm glad you get to spend some of it with us. So you got I'm with Alice. Hi, everyone. Welcome, welcome. We got the teacher in the house, Miss Jen, the teacher. Welcome, welcome. Happy Friday. Scroll down. I see Daryl hanging out. What's up? What's up? And I see Mr. Tank Ferret. If I can talk. Damn it, Dana, it's already starting. Did you not update my RAM? I told you.
I'm sorry. I didn't have time.
I'm running out of bits. But welcome, Tank Ferret. Good evening to all of you magnificent bastards and bastiettes. I'd probably say it's fine. We did it good enough. Damn it, Dana. We got to upgrade.
We do.
Benjamin Williams, welcome. And Gooey. Let's see. I saw Tommy hanging out with us tonight. Welcome. And Jackson. What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing tonight? Pretty good. And happy early Mother's Day to everyone. That's right, to all of the moms. You tell your mom, Dana, that we give her an extra special happy Mother's Day.
I will.
Oh, she's a good mama. Like, y'all don't even know. If you ain't had her sauce yet, it's delicious.
Well, Scarlett, if I can't get my tomatoes in the ground, there's not going to be any sauce this season.
Yes, please pray for Dana's garden. No, don't even think it, Dana. That will not happen.
My mom's already. My mom's already like hoarding. She's just like, all right, how many jars do we have left on the shelf?
Oh God.
I'm like, stop. You're like doom and glooming me. Stop.
No, it's fine. Look, it's a little delayed, but that means they're just going to grow really fast when you do put them in the ground and they're in this outside, and they're going to get really big, really fast, and really good. You're going to be so surprised.
That'll offset and we'll have a warm October. If we have like a warm October, that'll make up for like the month we lost being cold for April and May. So
fingers crossed
yes.
For the sauce. And welcome, JT. That's right. Welcome to the fever. Oh, yeah. All right. I'm going to get ready to drop this link, and then we are going to dive into all things from, hear what you guys have to say. I'm eventually grabbing the copy. That's the right bit. All right, paste, and then I'm gonna go and pin. Oh, you know what? Me and StreamYards and YouTube are about to have it out, Dana. This is like the 5th fucking week in read. Dude, how about this? Copy and paste it over here. Can't stop me from doing it on that side, can you? Riggers. I gotta pin it. You're not gonna let me pin it? What the fuck is going on?
Because I don't see it in the chat.
Oh, wait, am I like banned out of my own shit? What in the hell is going on here?
I do not see it. Hold on, let me try.
Oh, it's telling me it's not working. That is rigor. How is that even possible?
I don't know. Let's see if it works. It let me do it.
Oh, it's not lit. That's rigor. Yeah. Hang on. That's not even. What in this shit is it? Oh, I'm typing in the chat now. I'm typing my own chat. I'm sorry. This is not going to fly, Dana.
Yep, I see nothing.
Well, that's rigor as fuck.
Now I see you. What's up?
Okay. Well, why the hell can I post a link in my own YouTube? Y'all are really James. What in the fuck? How do we even explain? How am I not allowed to put a link in my own goddamn chat? This makes no sense. Well, Dana luckily had the magic.
I did. Sometimes my magic works. It's not guaranteed.
Doesn't make any damn sense, Dana. I don't even understand that.
No, you'd think an AI bot would be able to do it.
You would think it would. Yeah, I know. But apparently YouTube rejected my comment. This is fairly common when sharing a link. You may need to share the link another way. How else am I apologize. I almost really had to raise my voice. I need to calm down. What's up, Manicore? YouTube won't let me share links in my own chat. It's rigor. Protesting. Look, this is YouTube right here. This is me. Side-eyeing the hell out of it. What in the fuck are they doing, Dana?
Sucking.
That's rigor. You like this shit? Here's rigor. And this bitch. And her looks. And I do have a clip of her as well. Over her late father. May he rest in peace after she took a piece of him, Dana.
She did.
And we're gonna check it out. I got the bits. So if you guys want to come hang out with us and check out the bits with us and talk all about it, the link is hopefully now pinned to the top of the chat. Fingers crossed. Let us know if it works. Because it's going to be one of them nights. You piece of shit, Tank. I knew it. God damn it. Yeah, that's it. Taking your wrench away tomorrow. When you least expect it. You'll be thinking you're safe, and then all of a sudden your wrench will be gone. Ha 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 ha. Last laugh, Data. Take the wrench away.
Villainous laugh.
It's pinned to, look, YouTube did it. I can't help it, okay? It's supposed to be the top. It's at the bottom now sometimes. YouTube, I don't know. Manicore, you work it out, okay? You're supposed to give me like a better StreamYard. It's still rigor. Yes, the link is pinned somewhere, top or bottom of the chat, according to Manicore. It's at the bottom. You're gonna get good fellas. That's right. We're bringing down the hammer and taking away the rich. Something like that. I don't know. I don't have a clip either. God damn it, Dana. It's fine. But yeah, we do have a clip of this lady here and her evil deeds. And again, it's going. We go talk some. So we get some fairy talk, maybe some witch talk, Dana. Because teas are interesting, and I try to do a little bit more research. And other than just the kind of basic lore of the tooth fairy, in some sense, it goes back to like Vikings. They used to pay for children's teeth. They thought of it as like protection, supposedly, from what I saw. And they would basically make like necklaces. So when they go into battle, it would protect them. And that's where kind of like the payment of teeth, I believe, came from, was like the Vikings. How about that? And then witches, like they used to try to burn, bury, or like basically kind of destroy teeth in some way or preserve them in some way so that witches could not get their hands on them for magical works.
Yes.
And then, of course, there's just the fact of, like, fairies do like to take things. So sometimes instead of them taking the children, as fae creatures would do, they would leave the teeth of the children outside as to appease the fae. So they would take the teeth as opposed to the child. How about that? Yeah, a lot of good teeth lore out there. Teeth are disgusting, Dana.
They sure are.
I don't like them. But this little lady here, she had her eyes set on a nice veneer. She went in deep, Dana. I mean, and again, it could be a wisdom tooth. It's definitely a molar of some kind in the back. I don't know if it's the wisdom tooth or not, but either way. And I tried to look into wisdom teeth in particular lore. I couldn't find anything. A lot of the lore was more on babies' teeth than it was like your back chewers or your molars. It was more about the baby's teeth. So I'm curious. For her, it could just be something to remember him by.
A trinket.
Right? And I think she says something along those lines. So I'm going to bring that up. And again, anybody who wants to join us is more than welcome. But we're going to show off the clip a little bit and go through it. Yeah. Oh, she feels sad, Data. She's so concerned and sad and beat up on the inside.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be curious to find out, like, why she took the tooth or, like, what, if they even do. It could be one of the things we're never going to know, but I hope they don't do that to us.
Right. Sophia's the new Fromland dentist, says JT. Oh, see, there says Sophia, so sweet and innocent. Indeed. Right, who could ever suspect that? I mean, don't you take a souvenir, James? I mean, typically it's a trinket, right? People are like, hey, do you want to take a picture or something, to remember the person by? She just chose a tooth.
Yeah, I usually don't.
No.
He was like, nah, no. And yeah, I think that's just supposed to be like darker blood. I don't think it's completely like a rotted tooth, but I see what you're saying. It's so dark right there. I think it was just because when she pulled it out, it was like a high concentration of blood. Perhaps it was darker there. Do you guys think it was like a rotted tooth or anything?
No, but it did seem dark in the bottom half, but I don't know why.
I just thought because if you look here, it's kind of darker blood too. So I thought maybe it just was the. Oops, hang on. I'm looking. Why is it not? Oh, because I'm on the video. That's why. Let me go back to it. Please show it, and I'll go back. I was looking at the screenshot. That's my bad. Let's see.
Yeah, Daryl says because he's been dead for a little bit, so that might have something to do with it. But, they take the teeth, and Smiley had the teeth, but it's not just teeth. As far as when she took the glasses, it seemed to get her off a little bit. And she looked around the room as she exited at all the stuff like, oh, I love all these trinkets from people, So it's almost like the stuff in the cave that the monsters had. So it just seems like more than teeth. But like Dana said, there's still a question why.
Right? Like, what is she like? What does she do with them? Like, is it part of her shape shifting? Like, if she's like, okay, now I got a pastor in my back pocket in case I ever have to do this again. Next best way to come in is, another priest. Oh, no.
Right, JT says Sarah is already the town eye doctor. I'm not going over to that house for dinner, right? We got the tooth. We got the dentist here with Sophia, and then the eye doctor with Sarah. Yeah. I don't want to go in their house either. Like I said, Sarah's cool to stay in town, but I don't want to. I will live far away from her. Yeah. I don't trust them two together. I'm not staying in. I agree, JT, fully. But I don't know. It is curious because I do want to take items. You said he had the wallet with the teeth, so it could be more to it than just the teeth. But it's fucking creepy. It's not normal. You don't just go around just like yanking out teeth for. I mean, I guess it's the only thing she could really take without them noticing. But I mean, she could have had any object. I mean, as far as like his wallet, or if he had like something particularly on him, like jewelry or something of his, that would have been like a special item. The way the boy in white was talking to Victor about him. I'm curious why the teeth with it. And that does go, like you said, Dana, is it shape-shifting kind of stuff, or like, especially with fae or magic or witchcraft or something like that? It is questionable for the teeth. We know some folks have theorized witches. Sit and Spin, I know you are trying to come in. Should give you something to connect, because it's got you not connecting your mic or cam. So you got to try to give access to that before to let you in fully with us. But yeah, we'll see. Yeah, that scar on the head too, is that going to have meaning? I know there's some stuff about that. What Jim ends up having kind of like the same mark on his head. So I'm wondering, like a coin to barter with, it could be. And yeah, why bury them in particular? I mean, he couldn't bury the body, so he told him instead to bury the items, to take an item and bury that instead. So I don't know if the burying is going to be the significance or just the taking of the item. Since Victor wanted to bury something, perhaps that's why he told him to bury it, but it could have more meaning. Do you think there's more meaning to that, James, when he told him to bury it? Or do you think it was just because that's the way that Victor was already going to do things, so the boy in white was saying to him just to bury it?
You know, I need to probably go back and watch that scene. Did he mean because he can't find like he doesn't know whose body parts are whose or something like that? Did it have anything to do with that? Or was it specifically, hey, bury an item for a specific reason?
Right. And yeah, well, I don't. Which browser are you using, Firefox or Google Chrome? Chrome works best. I usually try to use Google Chrome when I come into StreamYards, because Firefox, it doesn't give you. It's not as easy usually. But when you pop in, it should tell you something around the browser to allow for your mic and your camera. I'm not sure which browser you're using.
Do we remember season and episode that the boy in white told Victor that? Anyone?
That was when he was down with Sarah, right? And I think
when he first
it.
he went down there with her and they built the fort, and he had the suitcase with him, and he was trying to remember about Christopher and Jasper. And so he was talking to her about it, and how the boy in white wanted he was telling the boy in white something about how he couldn't bury the bodies. So
Was
the
that
boy
season
in
3?
white.
Yes, it was season 3.
Okay.
I have that clip actually somewhere because we went over it. I can't remember exactly what we went over that particular clip. Was it when I was going back on episode 2? We'll look at it. We'll check it out. I'll find it in a second. What's up, Bill Chill? Welcome, everyone. Let's see. We'll listen to her a little bit and see if I can't find.
I couldn't let you go without something to remember you by.
Oh, no, she didn't, Dana. Just a little something. Just a little. She could have cut hair. Why the tooth? I mean, she didn't necessarily have scissors, but I mean, I'm sure she could have figured it out. What's up, Jackson? Welcome, hun.
Hello, how are you guys? Can you guys hear
Doing
me well?
good. Yeah. How you been, man?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
Doing real good. Just hanging out, checking out some teeth. What do you
Beautiful.
think about this? Is it just something for her to remember him by, or possibly some other magical works?
I think there's magical works involved. I
Hmm.
believe the teeth. I don't know if it means like if it's a wisdom tooth, like people have been saying, for knowledge or whatever the case, or just representing it. I know she could probably use it to transform. That's another thing she can do with those teeth. I don't know about keeping them for memories. I don't think like she wants to keep them to hold on for like her kill, like Dexter or something.
Right. And particularly when she talked about what to Sarah in the diner, and how she was saying that, kind of like a part of them was left behind in their items. It's something, right? Like I'm not sure exactly where they're going to go with it, but I'm curious. I'm hoping it has more than just the, okay, like, it's a trophy kind of thing. Um, because, that'd be really cool to know that's part of how she either shapeshifts, or I don't even know, just gives them some kind of extra power collecting teeth, or maybe that's how they're able to work certain magics within this place. Just from witchcraft kind of stuff, it's, teeth are used for curses and stuff like that. Now I'm curious to see an adult tooth being used in some form. I think what did I read something about the tooth fairy, and it said like the teeth that aren't exactly like the perfect ones or whatever, they grind up for fairy dust or something like that. Um, so yeah, they grinding up teeth for nightmare dust. I jacked up. Mr. Sandman, don't bring me a dream. Ground up tooth dust. That's messed up. That's not nice. I don't
I
know.
think she's using it to. She's gonna use it to shapeshift maybe into the priest. I know
Mhm.
Smiley had one in his pocket too, which he's
Mhm.
so far he's the only one that's had a tooth other than Sophia. But my take is, see, I really believe this is at least 95% HP Lovecraft's Cthulhu mythos. I'm almost pretty sure that it's all the books and everything that H.P. Lovecraft does is so syncretic that you can just pinpoint everything from real world stuff to religious scripture, all the culture, tarot cards, anything that has to do with indigenous. He covers everything. So I think, like, okay, for example, you know how she touched the ballerina when she was in the
Mhm.
storage room with Sarah?
Right.
I think that was hers. I think that was hers before when she first got there, before she got killed or whatever, and then the man in yellow took her form. And
Okay.
I and I believe that all the people here, including the man in yellow, were people, original
Mhm.
people. So I think that the curse, I think the writers are writing the curse as for some of these characters to become the H.P. Lovecraft characters as monsters, using Carcosa as a foundation, and having the man in yellow, like the king in yellow, Haster, and then, like, I don't know if you're not familiar with it, it's gonna kind of sound weird, but Nyarlathotep is another shape-shifting god in that cosmic god realm. That she's a trickster. He walks amongst us, and he can just grab all the gods and put them into the void if he wants to. If you remember the picture, the one of Victor's pictures, you see a dark man with red eyes.
Um. Uh. I'm trying to remember. I
It's an
think.
all
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
black
Yeah. Yeah. I
character.
remember. I remember. I remember. I remember which one you're talking about.
Okay, that's a representation of Nyarlathotep. So he
Mhm.
takes the form of a very dark, I don't want to say black man, but it's just a very tall, all dark figure, all black figure with red eyes. And he can
Mhm.
control crows as well, as Haster can control them. So I believe they're using the curse started, and, like, let's say, for example, the man in yellow was just a regular guy in the town. And
Mhm.
he had a kid just like everybody else is, trying to protect him. And he ended up becoming the man in yellow because of this. and that's why he's a monster. But there's somebody else ahead of him controlling everything. If that makes sense.
Yeah, and I've heard a lot of people from what season 2 talk about the Lovecraft theories, and I never did go and actually get into Lovecraft in order because there's so much to that. It's kind of like it's huge, right? Like it's a whole the whole
A whole
thing. It's not
universe.
like it's not like a one book read kind of thing. You just kind of get the gist of it. Like it's a whole it's all kinds of bits. So I never quite had took the time to get into it because I know it is ridiculous amount of time. But I do like the theories for those who are aware of the Lovecraft lore because I mean it very much so could be pulling from a lot of that, just like all this other stuff. And it will be interesting to see if those bits are true. Like if you're using those bits, then how do you see this sort of ending? Just kind of from what they have in Lovecraft lore, are they gonna like? How would they defeat something like that?
I can tell you exactly what I believe is going to happen, but we still got one season left after this, so I'm pretty
Mm-hmm.
close to it. I know we're going to have a flood, right?
Okay.
So there's a book. There's a book in called the Spiders of Lane. They
Mm-hmm.
are the children of a goddess called Atlatnacha, who is a giant spider deity who bridges the cosmos and the worlds together, like combines them to one. She comes during like the end times. So I don't know if she's going to be the giant spider coming down, or one of her children is going to be the one that comes down during the flood eventually. So when that flood happens, we'll see the spider. I think they're going to find a boat. They're going to have to find Boyd's boat eventually. I think it's going to be in the picture that Elgin, he took the Polaroid in the basement. When you see that picture is missing a boat, I think it's going to be that boat that's missing in that picture that they're going to find eventually somewhere, and they're going to have to get on it. I think the whole place is going to flood. They're going to have to move to another side. They're all going to separate. Like a massacre is going to happen for sure. But to make it short and sweet, since I'm kind of like prolonging it, I believe in the cave painting, if you look at the bottom right, there are 12 red human stick figures,
Right.
and it looks like they're performing a ritual. I believe
Mm-hmm.
they have to sacrifice six kids, six children, and I'm not the Ankui children. I think
Right.
Ethan's going to be one of them. After this season, I believe that we're going to get a lot of surprises. I think we're going to get a witch, from the witch of the dream house. I think there's portals or some type of portal in Colony House. Donna may
Okay.
be the witch,
Mm-hmm.
and when they sacrifice these kids after a certain amount of people die, I think we're going to get a group of kids, and they have to kill or sacrifice those 12 kids in order to get out of here. That's pretty
Okay.
much I can
So it's
explain
not like a
how
happy
it gets
Why
ending.
there, but
why
It's
I don't
12?
think so.
it's not gonna be like a happy
Because
ending kind of thing. Like it's gonna be a tragic sort of way to get out of this world. That's gonna be dark.
Why
it's very
12?
dark because why 12? So there's 12 figures on the bottom, and it's
Hang on
red.
one second. I'm gonna let you explain that. I just want to
Sure.
welcome Miss Sit and Spin. Welcome, hun. Oh, I hope your mic is working. Just keep trying it, and if it's fine if you interrupt a little bit. That way we see if it's working for you. But welcome, and yes, Mr. Jackson, please continue explaining the 12 children. I do want to know.
Because is it
Okay,
12
so
for this cycle since the original number was 7?
I believe that
Hello?
7 is the. Hello, can you hear me?
Oh, yeah,
Hello?
we can hear you, Jackson. Sit and spin. It's working
Can you
for you. We
hear
can hear.
me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Oh, thank God. What a time.
Welcome.
Hi.
Tech is fun, right?
Oh, God. I call them compoopers for a reason.
Right. Well, welcome,
Yeah.
hun. We were just sitting here hanging out where Jackson was going to tell us some more about his
Right.
theory.
Right. Because I also have a theory.
All right. Well, let's I'm going to let Jackson finish up with
Mhm.
his, and then we're going to listen to yours, hun. Go ahead, Jackson. Tell us more about the 12 kids.
So I'm pretty good with symbolism, esoteric, and allegories. So what I get from the cave painting
Mhm.
is you have once there's two different things going on here, maybe even three. I think there's three alternate, maybe three realities or two timelines happening at the same time. Maybe two Julies running around, two Jims, for example. So if you look at the picture, you have the squid that looks like I call him Cthulhu, but you have the little squid looking thing. You have the people coming in on the boats. You have the
Mhm.
lighthouse, and you go all the way to the right, and you're gonna see the red figures. There's 12 red figures looking like they're surrounding like a little hut. I think they're performing a ceremony. Now they have to, I believe they have to finish the ritual in order. You can't. I don't even think you can get out of here. I think you could just end it maybe. And I think you have to sacrifice those kids in order to end it, which means completing the story correctly, which they didn't do in the beginning because somebody, in my opinion, stopped it from happening, and it went wrong. So that's why they're cursed the way they are.
Yeah, I
get
think I
that.
found an
I
image
get
of it.
that.
Are you talking about these 12 over here, right? On this corner?
Yeah, that's it right there.
I
And
know
then
it's
you
not the
have
fullness. It's missing the little bit on the side. This was just one that I found real quick. We are missing the little what is it? The infinity, broken infinity on the side and stuff like that. But that's like, yeah, they're like, and I never knew what that was in the middle of them. I didn't know if that was like crops or like
and
I
and
never knew what that
and,
was.
and if you look to the left where the tree is, there's 10 people over there.
3, 4, 5,
And that
6,
Right.
7,
I was
8,
just
9, 10. I'm
counting
sorry,
too.
I'm trying to count.
and
It's
underneath it, that's where they're doing the ceremony, or where the ceremony took place, and that's where the big
10
hole I think is
monsters,
when
you
the
think?
spider comes down. 10 monsters, you said? Excuse me.
Yeah, 10 monsters or 10 people.
I don't know. I think, yeah, 10 people. Those are 10 people. Maybe the 10
Hmm.
people that became monsters. I don't know if there's, or the 10 children and not seven, because they're
Yeah.
making it seem like there's seven, but there's more, because there's seven on the slabs, but the blue and white got away, in my opinion. So that will be eight. And then probably the two that's reincarnating back and forth. And in my opinion,
That
from what
makes
I
sense.
gathered, in 1506 is when it started. But I don't think the man in yellow, or Doug Hughes, his character, I don't think he may have been the one who has started the curse. I think he was the one there last time, like a Boyd character, trying to help the town, and ended up becoming the man in yellow.
I
And I
agree
think
with that.
maybe possibly Sophia is his daughter that ended up dying or having
Hmm.
to be sacrificed or something. And when he saw that, he looked at it, is what I'm guessing. And she's the ballerina. I think she may be the reincarnation of the ballerina monster. But that's getting a little. We might be
Yeah.
getting a little too. We got to go too far back for that, and need a little more information. But it's a good possibility that she could be tied to that as well.
Hmm.
nice. It is a lot to think about because I mean they give us just
Yeah.
enough to let our. I mean, for me at least, to let my imagination kind of tinker around and think.
It
Could it
does.
be this or that?
This show makes your imagination just whirl and whirl
Right?
and whirl. And it's like, do these people even know what the hell it is they've created?
Oh yeah. It,
The,
it's fabulous because
They
for
don't
me to
know.
get into a show like this, like I'm not big into a lot of fandoms to where I would get where I am like this show. I didn't even get into Lost when it first came out, right? Like the only thing that caught me into Lost
I
was the
couldn't
fact that I
either.
watched this and I had, people were talking so much
Yeah.
about the similarities, like, okay, I need to go binge it. And then I never really even went back to it because again, I wasn't really part of the fandom. I was more about, the information
Yeah.
directed towards From.
See,
So
Lost, I couldn't get into Lost. Me mum was an addict.
yeah, and it's like that. Like
I
I think
couldn't
I
get
got
into
into
Lost.
Supernatural, but
I
again, I didn't get into the full fandom of like going
Yeah,
into chats,
same.
and
It
stuff
it
like
was the
that.
same for me with Heroes.
even Game of Thrones, like I watched it
Oh
on my own
God,
time, but
no.
I didn't get into any of the fandom. Like I didn't do any of the streams or like anything like that, right? Like this is probably the first show that really drew me into like a fandom.
I tried to watch Game of Thrones and it was so slow. It was like, no, I would rather watch paint dry. I'm sorry, but it was just drag.
It did
drag,
start off the first couple
incest,
seasons
drag.
slow. I liked it though.
It's like I watched 2 or 3 episodes and I thought, skipped a couple, watched episode 9, skipped to the end of the first series, watched the first episode of season 2, skipped to the end, and I just thought, no, it's cack. Just no. But I have a theory.
Yes, ma'am.
You know how Tabitha's been finding like the bracelets that she made, all these bracelets. I think Julie time walking has put those bracelets in certain places to lead them all there.
I agree.
Okay. Could be. I mean,
right?
With everything they're like throwing at us, it's definitely a possibility.
Julie's been there since the beginning. I think she's been. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, 100%. Because it smacks of Doctor Who's Bad Wolf story, where Rose Tyler scatters the words "bad wolf" through time and space to lead herself to where she had to be to become time itself, to stop the time war. And seeing all these little things that are so personal to her mother, it's Julie had to have done that.
Yeah, especially now with her, right? Her grabbing the storybook and kind of making it known that, hey, his stories are some sort of insight to it.
Yeah.
And her going back to the massacre, right? Like what we, do you watch the what's to come for the next episode, right? I'm sorry. Spoilers.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes.
That's technically spoilers. We will, forewarning, possibly talk about the next episode trailer that has been put out freely tonight. I apologize. I will try to make sure to put that into the description.
Heather, and Julie is currently Riversong traveling backwards in time, trying to find the right spot. Yeah, that's exactly what she's doing. She's trying to find the right moment to keep the whole timeline on point to where everybody gets out, but without messing up too much. But we're seeing her at the minute as she's only learning, but we haven't seen her when she's got when she has control of her story walking.
Right.
I agree.
Right, like she's just now starting to get like the grips of it, right? Because what we saw at the end of season 3 is where she's coming into now, and even then she still didn't have full control over it, right? Like she's still learning. And I'm kind of curious,
Julie,
like
the one we have yet to meet. She's the one putting things in place, like deep.
And I am curious because, like, I know when she goes and she does her story walking, at least from what we can see right now, she appears as if she can interact, and whatever is on her as far as clothing seems to be with her. I'm curious if she had a backpack or anything in her hand when she goes down. Now, I know she lost Ethan and he couldn't go with her as a physical person, but I'm wondering about an object, if she's able, like the book, you know what I'm saying? Like the Chronocle book or something. Like, is she able to physically take anything with her as she learns her powers?
That's another theory I've been toying around with. I think Julie gives the Chronocle to the children. She is the one that tells them the story.
That's what I thought.
Very true. Oh, and you're good, hon. I didn't know if you were talking about the episode, so I just was like, oh my bad, I didn't even say anything about that. And I do, because I know some people don't like to talk about the next episode preview trailer. Um,
Yeah, spoilers.
yeah, spoilers of Doctor Who, man. It got look.
Hello,
I
sweetie.
stopped after they kind of went into changing him into a female. And look, I don't have any problem with a female time traveler, but it didn't make sense
The
for
thing is,
me.
the writing let her down. If they had kept it as Romana, because Romana years ago she was a Time Lord as well, but and instead of keeping the Doctor as the Doctor,
Mhm.
they made her this hybrid thingy, this chosen one thing, and I was like, what are you doing?
Right. It was like too
You,
much. I'm like, come on. It
like,
was fine with him being able
right?
to like, because everything that I'd ever saw from, well, that's getting into a whole nother fandom, but
Yeah.
it was, I did watch a bit of Doctor Who up until that point, and then I know they went to a whole bunch of other stuff, just watching
Oh,
shorts that pop up, but
yeah.
I left after that. I was kind of
Stephen
sad
Moffat
because the
is not
story
my
that they
favorite
ended on,
writer.
well, the story they had at that point was really good. Like, I kind of enjoyed that little
Hmm.
bit of story they were going and stuff, and then it did. Or I'm out. But from so far, hey, lie, it's still kicking for me, and
Mm. The best
where were we at?
character
I
in
forgot. What
Doctor
were
Who,
we
bar
talking about with
none,
your theory? We
Donna
were talking
Noble.
about we got way off. Oh, we were talking about
I
Julie.
agree with everything that she's saying, and I wanted to add that if you don't mind.
Yeah.
I think you guys are right when it comes to that. 110%. I believe she
Oh,
may have
thank
to use
you.
an item to go through the threshold. And in order to go back into the original date,
Yes,
like she said, maybe to give the book, she has to have Tabitha's bracelet.
yes,
And then when she uses that bracelet, so I believe that during the first few seasons, all the mysterious things that we've seen going, that's Julie at her full potential. Right
yeah,
now, we're seeing her learning as she goes. So when she went to okay, so for example, she went with Randall, right, to the ruins. When she went with Randall,
Mm-hmm.
Randall went in first, and then she came
Right.
out. Now she didn't have nothing specific on her, but she had Randall with her. Do you think that's why they went? She went back to that time because she was focusing on Jim, and Randall was with her, and Randall was there that day.
It's possible because we're still trying to figure out like how does that work. I mean, we assume, of course, yes. I assumed it was the RV and her dad, but Randall
mm.
being there is a third factor to consider.
Speaking of Randall, what
Just
do
to go to
you
that time.
guys think about
Mm-hmm.
Randall becoming the man in yellow? Because
I mean, I'm not gonna say he's not. I don't see that. It seems like the man in
I
yellow. I
don't
mean,
either.
the only thing I would say is if he's just gonna kill him off and then take his, place. But as
Mm-hmm.
far as like Randall turning, like himself turning into, and it's still Randall, I don't see that because it looks
I
like
don't.
whatever the man in yellow is or that entity, that person, um, it is what it is. The way he shapeshifted, it seemed like he took the embodiment like from the little whatever girl
Yeah.
he is now. He had the clothing and stuff. So yeah, I mean, if Randall passes away in some unfortunate and he gets, whatever is
Right.
significant
Yeah,
to
yeah,
him, then
yeah.
yeah, I could see him
See,
transforming into him.
Randall is too much of a rebel. He's rough around the edges. He's full. He's
He's
more blue
he's
collar
got
than
the
I
biggest
am.
belt buckle in From right now.
Yeah.
Randall's grown up a lot.
He
Yes.
has. Look,
Yes.
I've warmed up to Randall this season.
Yes.
I would like
He
to
need to
add to
stay away
your
from Julie though. I'm sorry. I'm about to smack his hand too. Who in
yes,
the
he's a
hell is
little
he
too
gooning
young.
for right here? He was all looking nice and she cried. Back the fuck up. Now Jim can come back from the grave. Jim, smack him in the face.
That's a different Jim. That's a different Jim from alternate timeline. Like remember, I
Yes.
said I think there's like there's two timelines happening at once here, and we just don't see it yet. Like
Yeah.
because I
Mm.
look at certain things sometimes, and I see, man, Jay's beard is way too long for it only being 3 months. And then I see Boyd with a short beard and a
Oh,
long beard and a hair.
breezy.
Everything looks different. Like if we're seeing different stories happening, not in chronological order, if that makes sense. Like right now,
I
this could
get
be the
it. I
beginning
get
of the
that.
curse, and then we go back to the first season, and then we
Mm.
get a piece of it like Star Wars backwards kind
Right.
of thing.
Right.
So we're not seeing the story in order, pretty much. And I think that Randall becoming the man in yellow is not far fetched because I think the man in yellow did become a monster, and I don't think I think he was a regular human first. So whoever those three the
I think
Kata
he does.
characters are. Randall becomes the man in yellow. Marielle becomes whoever the ballerina monster is, and then Julie's the story walker.
Mm.
Is the only thing I can think of if they want to go that route. But they can go so many different routes because that's what's so beautiful about this show that I like so much
Yeah.
is there's so much. I mean, me
God, I
personally, a lot of
know.
people don't know me. I understand. I know every scripture known to man. I've read everything from the Atrahasis to the Epic of Gilgamesh to the Bible to the
Nice.
everything you can
I
think of every
Divine
mythology, and I
Comedy.
see it in here.
Have
Excuse
you
me.
read the Divine Comedy by Dante?
Yes, Paradise
Yes.
Lost, Dante's Inferno.
Yes.
That's it.
Yes.
This show represents it as well because
I
if
was
you
just
notice,
gonna
there's
say that. I was just
nine
gonna
dates
say
on
that
the
that
lighthouse.
this right here is Dante. It's
Yeah,
especially with Boyd's, because if you watch
that's what
Boyd,
Boyd is.
he
The
is
nine stages
slowly
of hell.
descending into madness. It's coming on
That's
so
exactly what this
slow,
is.
but it's ramping up slowly.
Whether it's symbolism or actually happening, but that's what's going on here. Because in
Yeah.
Gnosticism, you have the seven archons, right?
Uh-huh.
And then you have Sophia, who gives birth to the demiurge, which is the blind god, which
Right.
Azazoth in H.P. Lovecraft represents this demiurge, which is Yagabeo, and he is the blind idiot god known in Lovecraft, who's dreaming the world, and once he wakes up, reality just stops. Now you have
I am
Mhm.
so
in
glad
Hang on one second.
one.
I came on
Go
chat
ahead.
tonight. I am so glad I joined in panel.
No, you guys are killing it. I'm gonna get to the chat real quick, just a few, and then I'm gonna let you guys continue to cook because y'all are doing a good
Breezy
job.
made a hell of a comment earlier.
I'm
That
sorry, who?
Breezy.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed Breezy said that Boyd will have to become man in yellow for everyone else to live. And could you imagine being given that choice? You
Oh
either
yeah,
take my place and everyone can go
I
home,
did
or
see
you
that. Where
don't
did
and
it go?
everybody dies.
I saw it. Where'd it go? Oh no, my cat's trying to knock everything
Right?
down. Where did it go, Breezy? I see. There it is. And I mean, that is going to be interesting to see. I mean, I don't think anybody's going to turn into the man in yellow per se,
No, I don't.
but when this place, I mean, we're seeing him chomp away on people, and Victor's memory is shit. So who really knows? And welcome, no. See, useful in a world where the rules are a reoccurring. Hey, it's modified. Randall's basically fucked the rules to everything from the jump.
Yes.
Yes, he
Yes.
is, and he's coming around
He's
a little
punk
bit.
rock. Randall is as punk rock as they come.
Oh yeah, and he's coming around a lot now. He's starting to work with a little bit more of the characters, even Boyd.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
but again, it took him just like it's taking Acosta and anybody else to truly see this place for themselves, not just what they think they see or what people tell them, but to truly see is believing. And I think he believes now that this place is pretty fucked.
Yeah.
See, MG says Randall ain't the man in yellow, and the Miranda painting everyone refers to as showing a scar is not a scar. I don't know about the Miranda painting, but yeah, I don't think he's going to be the man in yellow. I'm worried about Miranda as far as or not Miranda. I'm worried about Marielle, but Miranda painting, I don't know which one that one is. I'm trying to think now. Which one is that? Would send it if you were in the Discord. Send it in the Discord, so I knew. So I'm not sure. I'm trying to actually figure out what painting that is of her. Now I'm worried about Marielle though, because she might get caught out if what happens to her or what happened to Randall kind of happens to her, where he got caught up with the cicadas. I am kind of worried if she gets chained up somewhere and she's left alone with, like, I don't know, Sophia, for instance.
Oh God, yeah.
Like, how is that really going to go down? That's going to be creepy. And Mancor is totally digging the conversation. Yes, he loves the symbolism and stuff and things, right? Total respect. Symbolism is his jam. Nice. See, Marilyn says, I think Tilly was also the man in yellow looking at the behavior of the crows and the boy in white, and crows are connected because in the painting, the boy in white's mouth is a crow. And yeah, the crows are still kind of a question for me, but we'll dive into that in a minute for sure. I'm on the fence on who controls them or if they're just sort of I don't want to say like either side, they're just part of the world, they're just a warning symbol,
Yeah.
like neither side controls them. So I'm still
It's
kind of on the
Neolithotep.
fence. What is that?
Neolithotep. It's a H.P. Lovecraft character. That's
Oh,
who
okay.
she's
Oh, that's one
shape-shifting
you were
into the
telling me about
boy in white.
earlier. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I was like, what?
he's shape-shifting and he's going against the man in yellow. He doesn't like him. They don't get along.
Okay. Yes, hang on, and we will. I know it was posted up here somewhere earlier. Dana had put a link for it. I'll make sure to try to put
Just
the link here in
thinking.
just a second.
Oh,
No.
the Discord? I got you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Miss Dana.
Do you know what's starting to jump out at me now?
What? Let us know.
Homer's Odyssey. The Odyssey.
Mm-hmm. Well, a lot of those old mythologies, right? Even Pandora's box with the music box.
Yeah.
There's a lot of mythos that can connect to this, from Fays, Norse to just
Oh God, yeah.
Catholicism. They're all
It's
sort of
every
intertwined.
single one of them. Yes, go ahead. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you're fine. Yeah, they're totally intertwined together.
Have you
In
ever
some
seen a
weird way.
movie
It's almost as
called
if they're in
the Where Art Thou?
like what I always try to reference a movie, and I'm horrible when I'm trying to reference something, remembering the name of it. But Macaulay Culkin in the library is a little boy with the books, and he ends up going into like the cartoon.
Hold on.
Um,
Bloomin' hell.
I know, right?
Oh.
Exactly. Until I had to know the name of it. But that movie where and he's going through all these different storybooks.
That's going to be in there for hours now. Cheers.
I know. Enjoy.
That.
But it kind of reminds me of how like Ethan, right? He's a little boy and he's got these storybooks and he kind of goes on this adventure. And although it was just in his mind, so to speak, it wasn't a real place like
oh my God. Never-ending Story.
Was that Never-ending Story was a different one. That one,
but that was Sebastian reading the book following Atreyu.
Yes, that one could be another reference for sure. So yeah, there's something about that now that they're making sure that the storybooks are kind of it's weird. For Ethan to say, well, because he's saying he made up the story, but did he make up the story? If these stories aren't made up and they were always real, there's just something about it that kind of makes me think of those kind of movies, or like you said, any of those mythos where they all connect in some weird way. Even like Native American mythos. I mean, you just name like a culture, and it's almost like you can find it from.
Well, that's the beauty about that. Also, when you go, so if you go back to like ancient Samaria with the Sumerian cultures and Akkadian, they all migrated from Asia up to America. So those are the Clovis people, but the Clovis people end up becoming the Thule people. The Thule become the Beothuk, and then the Beothuk go back and become the Inuits. So the Inuits are, and then but that's more like Newfoundland. Once you get more towards America, the real America, you're talking about like the Taino and Quetzalcoatl and those deities were there at that particular time, because in 300 BCE you had Pythias, the Greek expeditioner Pythias, who came here to America, and then when 1001 you had Leif Erikson came here. And then that's when they started doing all the stuff to converting people to was it Catholicism or Christianity or something like that. They were trying to like make people.
It was Christianity first. Catholicism came later, but it was always Christianity first.
And then in
What's up,
1506 you had John Cabot, which is he's Phoenician actually. I don't know if anybody knew that. All of them were European that came over here and pretty much took from the people, took the land for the people, pretty much.
Right. One of my favorite words in the whole of language is Iroquois of origin, and it's called orenda. And it means a mist, like an invisible energy or magic power that pervades the environment, and it allows individuals to influence their surroundings and manifest intention. And every time I always wonder if these people are actually manifesting it themselves, like they too are interacting with the story without realizing it, unintentionally being actors in their own experience. I don't know. I don't even know if that makes sense.
I understand completely what you're saying, and it does make sense to me personally because Cthulhu will do that in your dreams and make you go mad and give you
Yes.
intentions and do things you don't want to do.
Horrendous.
Yeah, so I can completely agree with that.
So it's going to be interesting to see how they tie the lore together that they're pulling from to create whatever it is that they are trying to create in the end for their story. If it's not going to be a specific lore, whether it's the Lovecraft lore or Viking lore, Greek
It's
or
all
whatever.
it's so syncretic enough that
Right.
it covers all of them. That's what I'm like. I don't understand. I mean, there's ways to explain it. I can't explain it any better. I've been trying, but this show can cover every single thing that anybody has pointed out. Salem witch,
Right.
expeditionaries, Christopher Columbus in 1492 coming over here to the land for the indigenous. You have the Salem witch trials, which the nun comes over from Europe and the nun come over here, and then they do the little sacrifices with the kids and stuff like that. That's in
Right.
the
But what
dreams of
is
the witch
their
house.
end entity? Is it going to be just what the Lovecraft lore is? What is that it like for their story? Their big baddie, and goodie, whatever the major powers that be that created
Oh,
this
my
world,
candle's gone out.
what are they going to reference it as? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm very curious to see after they've gone through all of the history of humanity mythos that is part of this world at the beginning. What are they going to found it on? Is it going to be like I'm curious. I don't think it's going to be Lovecraft, Christianity, Viking, any particularly god from that lore. But I'm just
The
curious
thing
how they're
is,
going to explain theirs. What are they going to
right,
call it? What is its sort of entities being going to be about? Is it going to be a Zeus-like character? Is it going, you know what I mean? Like, what is their end-all be-all gods going to be
right. The thing is,
referenced as?
all of
At,
these
at,
myths
oh,
and
go ahead.
legends all trace back to the same place. They are
Exactly.
basically fan fiction. All these
Hmm.
mythologies, from Christianity to Catholicism to Judaism to Hinduism, they're basically fan fiction of a religion that came before them and the one that came before them, and all of them came from the same place,
Source. Yeah,
same
they're just stories
source.
based on the same thing that happened before. So, like for example, the Epic of Gilgamesh and the Atrahasis is like the story of Noah's Ark, but that
Yes,
predates it by like 1,000 years, and it was
yeah,
Right,
written
and
in
I know
stone,
like a
not on
lot
paper.
of mythos connect in our world, like in our real world, all of the mythos, religious
mm-hmm.
practices and stories and things like that, they kind of overlay. Or yes, there's some changes within the story, but there's a lot of the same kind of themes and things going on. But I don't
Correct.
think that it's going to be with, even though they're taking from all of our real life mythos and the TV show From, I don't think it's going to be like the way our mythos is in the end, in the sense that
I
what
don't
we
either.
believe our main god may be, regardless of whatever mythos you
Mm-hmm.
go with or however you see the universe in our
Yep.
world right now, what we have, I don't think they're going to end up naming it in any kind of form of what we have and giving it
I
distinct
agree.
powers to that.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see what god they're going to give power to, because we have sort of a harvest god, we have sort of a death god, we have, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm curious to
Mm-hmm.
see with the seasons and
So
harvest, the moons
I
and
can give
things
you the
like that, that gives
archetypes.
sort of like particular kind of god that we're dealing with. And I'm curious to, that's what I'm curious at, like what god are they going to give us? Because with the colonist kind of aspect, it gives a very like the harvest sort of gods that you see that colonists, some of them had, that went really dark. um So I'm curious. I don't know. I'm just curious to see what kind of god they're going to give us in the end. Like what it's because
They
it's
might
shape shifting. Like so, like what name is it going to have, right? Because Ankui meant remember. So with that kind of language thing too, right? Like
Oh, I've just thought of something.
give it to us.
Oh my God. Talking about biblical symbolism,
Hmm.
the locusts, the plague of locusts in Egypt was caused by the eruption of Santorini volcano.
And see, I took the cicadas with the music box as a Pandora's box reference because of knowledge gained,
That as well. That
and
as
the hope
well.
that was left there, kind of thing, because it kind of like released some sorrows onto the town.
Mm.
want to go back to the gods real quick if it's okay, so I can
Yeah,
try.
go ahead.
Yeah,
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 no,
yeah.
y'all are fine. Yeah, go for it.
I now I personally am gonna stick with the Lovecraft stuff because them gods are
Yeah.
just archetypes and made up characters that represent all those characters into one. So they're the same archetype. So for example, you might hear a name called Azazoth. You might hear
Yes.
the Yellow King Haster. You might hear
Uh-huh.
Cthulhu, not Neolithotep, and Dagon's another one, Mother Hydra. You might hear names like that. If you hear anything close to that, that's Lovecraft 100%. Now, if they're not going to label it as a specific name, which I never thought they were, I thought they were going to use Lovecraft because it's perfect for you. Can't, there's going to be no altercations with religion while you're talking about it, in my opinion, if you were to do it that way. So I think that HP Lovecraft's version, they do the moon god. You have your sun god. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what they're going to represent. So they may not say, well, it's Azazoth who's dreaming the world. They might say the creator of all. And if they want to say the sun god, like instead of Apollo and Amun Ra, they'll just say sun god. And then the moon god would represent like the boy in white. It also represents like Nirvana and stuff like that in Buddhism and the Tibetan wheel
Yeah.
and the Baraka and the Bortles, six Bortles. So they can just label it pretty much sun god, moon god, etc.
Nice. And Dana, and James, I don't want to leave you guys out. Do you have any thoughts on any of the bits with the
Oh,
read?
I'm having fun typing in the chat. It's like the first night I'm able to actually sit here and type in the chat. So I'm sitting here talking to people in the chat.
You're good. I just didn't want to leave you guys out either.
I never get to do this.
I know. I know you usually happen to help me in between my internet connection.
No, I or have to talk and I can't multitask. So this is fun.
But
After
no, it
the
is
first
interesting to
season,
see. No, go ahead. Go ahead, sweetie. Go ahead.
well, after the first season, I kind of already knew where this was going,
Yes.
and I ended up the second season. I was gonna make my own channel, right? I had my StreamYard. I paid for a year. I was getting all my equipment. I had everything that you can think of, Lovecraft to the T. Comparing it to this, and then after everybody seen the Man in Yellow, boom, that was it. Everybody started saying, "Oh, it's this and this and this and that." I ended up not doing it. So I
You
appreciate
should
you guys
have.
letting me come on to speak about this. Is what I'm trying to say because I have a lot of knowledge that pretty much is useless. But for the show, I can pinpoint everything from every mythology and stuff like that. And I think what's going to happen is the Lake of Tears. This is another thing I wanted to reference. The Lake of Tears reminds me of the Styx in Greek mythology, where all the souls and
Yes.
stuff like go in there. So I
Yes,
think there's
yes,
a
yes.
portal there.
Right. Especially with the dream, because in the underworld, right, there's also a place for like the god of sleep and stuff like that. You go to like the poppy field, to the doors, and I think you also have like what is it? Morpheus and oh my god, I'm horrible with names. If
Oh,
I
Dreams.
went
You're
into
talking about the
it.
dream
Boatman
god?
again.
Yeah, I'm talking about the dream god as
Boatman
well as
again.
like because he had all of his like dream children. Some of them were kind of like good, some of them were bad. Some brought you sort of good dreams, some could bring you bad dreams, but they were very close to other things in the underworld. Like it was just a whole chaotic place under there, right? Like there was a numerous of gods and places on the like the Greek or Roman underworld and how you could kind of navigate through it. It was a lot more complicated, I think, than some of the other places to go. Like, there's ridiculous when I did research for it, because you even had what was her name? Oh, Dana, I'm horrible with the Greek names of the goddesses, because I even did the video on her.
Hecate?
Athena, Aphrodite,
No,
Hera,
Dana said it.
Hecate?
Artemis. Oh, you
Was
said
it
that?
Hecate? I think it was
Oh,
Hecate.
Hecate.
Yeah, I can't say them right. I'm horrible pronouncing.
Hecate.
Because she had, the torch and the dogs, and she kind of was able to
Yes.
cross between worlds, and there was a whole bunch of stories about how she did things and the gods and goddesses that were kind of affiliated with her, and it does connect with some of the stuff that, like I thought was going on with the dungeon and with the torch, and how the dreams, I was trying to connect all those gods to this place, but in the end it felt like it still didn't fit, right? Like, it didn't fully fit enough to be like, okay, this is what it is. But boy, are they not playing with some crazy themes.
Mhm.
I know you guys in the chat were even talking about it. I know we talked about it when Captain Shriver was on here, the sort of Christian or Catholicism sort of references you got, like the Virgin Mary that's twisted with Fatima, right? She's almost like
Yeah.
the Virgin Mary, because she wasn't supposed to give birth, right? She didn't have a capable womb, and yet she gave birth to something ungodly. It's crazy, like, and then now you
The
got
kimono
Sophia
women?
coming in. No, Fatima, she gave birth to Smiley, but I don't think I look at her as like a Virgin Mary, because of the fact that
Yeah.
from the way she talked to
Immaculate
us,
Conception.
right, she was
Hmm.
not supposed to be able to have a baby. That was
Excuse me a
never.
moment. I have to take a medication.
Yeah, that was the.
No, you're fine.
Yeah, that was definitely a symbolism and a reference to that.
And it's so weird how they're almost making now these Christian references that are twisted, right? And that would be the way that you would think like Satan would work, at least especially in movies and TV. He twists the faith, he would twist God's word, he would twist, what you would think would be good. So twisting something like Fatima and making her, the Virgin Mary, or the twisted version, darker version of it, I could see that happening.
But that was the
Not to
kimono
mention
that
even
the lady
like
that did it too.
like the melody, right? Because it talks about the three. They come for three, and it has the three parts to it, and they come for three. If you want to stretch it, that can be kind of a Christian reference to, again, I think in some movies and stuff, talks like when the devil comes, he'll come like knocking 3 times. He'll do things 3 times in order to, it's almost like a marker. And then, of course, Sophia's popping in, throwing out, like her first Bible reference that she threw out was talking about like the coming of Christ and stuff. So, like, what the fuck?
The one she was talking to Kenny was a reference to one of the guys who stole the goods when he wasn't supposed to touch anything.
No, John 1:5. I
got
thought was
cursed.
talking about John 1:5. I thought was talking about the coming of Christ when I looked it up.
The kimono lady.
No, Sophia.
She's no, I know. I'm
okay.
saying.
Full of like chalk.
So the kimono lady is the goddess of the deity or goddess of fertility. Is what the kimono represents. But in H.P. Lovecraft, her name would be Shag-Niggurath. So she is a entity that's in the forest, and she's a fertility god that gives birth, like Immaculate Conception, since we were talking about that. So another Lovecraft reference.
Right, but yeah, that Bible reference. So it's like it's talking about. I thought it was talking about the coming of Christ a little bit.
The first one, or the one where she's talking to Kenny after she freaks out Julie?
Talking about the first one where it was John 1:5. Talks about the light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. Through him all things were made. Without him nothing was made that has been made. In him was life, and that life was the light of all mankind. The light that shines in darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. There was a man sent from God whose name was John. He came as a witness to testify concerning the light, so that through him all might believe. He himself was not the light. He came only as a witness to the light. The true light that gives light to everyone was coming into the world. He was not in the world, and through the world was not made through him. The world did not recognize him. He came to that which was his own, but his own did not receive him. Yet to all who did receive him, to those who believe in his name, he gave the right to become children of God. Children born not of natural descent, nor of human decision, decision, or a husband's will, but born of God. It continues from that. A whole bunch of stuff. I
Oh
found
yeah,
that
that's that.
whole thing very interesting that she brought that up, because again, it's talking about, from what I'm understanding, the coming of Christ, and if you believe in him, because later it talks about if you so believe in him, you shall not perish. Kind of, I forget the exact phrasing, but it was John 3:16, if I'm not mistaken,
Yeah,
somewhere around that.
he's talking about the Christ consciousness and the Nephilim.
So I found it very interesting that Sophie is referencing that to Kenny. Very interesting. So I don't know.
Let's see if I
We'll,
can
we'll
phrase
see,
that.
man.
So my take on this, I'm gonna try to simplify this as best as I
It's
can.
like a mockery.
Fromland is the battleground.
Yes.
Okay, let's say it's a void. The highest of the high took everybody there. That's the battleground. Every god, every demon, everything you can think of is in this place. This is Ragnarok, Armageddon, the end of the world, hell versus earth type fight. Is what's happening here.
I would agree with that. And all the pawns are almost in place to make their move.
All of them have to play a part because they're in Dante's Inferno.
Yes.
They're not dead technically, and they're not in purgatory or dreaming. So technically, they're in the astral realm, which you're still alive, and you have to go to each stage. So basically, once you go through all stages, you can go to heaven basically and move on. Like I was saying earlier, in Gnosticism, you have these things called the 7 archons. Once you test the 7 archons and you pass those tests, you do that by remembering who you are and answering their questions. Once you answer their questions, you can move on to the astral plane, and then you can go to this thing called a paroma. Or you can create your own world or come back reincarnated. If you fail, you're forced into reincarnation with your memory wiped until you pass this thing. Pass that test. So that's like another not Dante's Inferno, because you got the 7 archons, but you have to remember yourself in parole for the next step and then create in the 9th step. So that would be your 9 stages. Also, I don't know if anybody's familiar with Buddhism. In Buddhism, you have this thing called the Bakara. And the Bakara is like the Tibetan wheel of life. And you have everything in this wheel combined together. You have the material, then you have the cosmic, then you have the gods, and then you have the middle, which is either called ether, void, the center. There's so many different names for them, but that's like the void basically. I like to call it the void because I'm familiar with it more. In every mythology, in every place, you have this particular spot. So what's going to happen is they're telling you a story throughout this curse about these gods who are fighting this war, and we're witnessing it, and we're about to find out who wins. Basically, real life a lot of real life aspects of this show is in here too. And I've seen like real points a lot of it out. I've noticed, but there's a lot more to it too, because the number 47 means so many different things.
And they do that with almost everything.
100%, Heather. Victor needs to unlock those memories fast.
Oh yeah, and it's going to be hard for him. He is very traumatized, and I don't know if it's just the trauma, if the man in yellow did anything to him in particular on top of the trauma, but it's going to be interesting to see where they go with this, because they give us so many different things. Again, I can't wait to see what our girl Acosta finds down here. There's so many treasures to go through.
I hope she goes NCIS on all those things.
Oh yeah, because again,
Is it
who
safe to say
knows
she's
what
gonna find
pieces?
the map to the rainbow sky?
I don't know. I know some folks have said she might find the ring. That's how Boyd gets a hold of it. Were you talking about that, James? I can't remember. Somebody was talking about last stream, I believe. And so it could be the ring that ends up popping up. And I don't know what the map is going to actually be. Again, I thought the Peach Truck map was a pretty good map. No, that they haven't really, like, Boyd walked right by it. He hasn't really paid too much attention to it. I mean, he said some reference, but he never went back and tried to like take any notes off of it. So what is going to be like the map to get out of here? But there's, I mean, if the colony house has more meaning than, say, the normal town places like the diner or the normal houses, and I'm not talking about the church. The church, I think, has more meaning. And colony house having these stone structures seems to give it more meaning. Again, it goes back to some of the old the ruins that we have on the outskirts of town. So if colony house is magical and there's something more here, I'm curious, is she going to find, is it not going to be an object? Is she going to find a hatch? Is she going to find another passageway? Is she, like, what is it that she's going to find? And there's so many possibilities as to what she could discover. Like, is there something like a journal, a diary somewhere hidden behind a stone? Or, you know what I mean? Like, in a place like this, in an adventure setting,
there,
like, so many things that could, like, you could possibly get into in a room like this. Yeah, Billy, feel free to drop your link to your comic book, man. We'll try to do something again real soon with you.
I have to say something. I have talked more about this show in the last 6 months than I ever talked about The Sopranos. And The Sopranos is the gold standard of shows.
Right. See, we got a question from the chat. Did the man in yellow let Victor live during the original massacre? And again, from what we've seen, it's going to be interesting. I don't know if he let him or did he even cross paths? I mean, he did at one point, right? We know that Victor saw the man in yellow, but did the man in yellow see Victor or even care?
Victor can testify.
Like, did he even care if that Victor was even there? Did Victor sneak by him? Like, did Victor just see it kind of in the bushes and he got away? I'm curious to know because, again, Victor would definitely have known what the man in yellow looked like, so he can't come into town that way. And I was trying to think of, other than Victor, who else would cause the man in yellow to shapeshift so that he wouldn't know, like, no, they wouldn't know who he was. Because, I mean, did Tabitha know anything? I know we were talking about it last time, but Victor's the only one that would have seen him, right? I mean, yes, Miranda and Tabitha have the image, but Miranda didn't notice any different apparently. So Fatima doesn't remember him yet. So I don't know. I'm kind of curious as to all these pieces that don't seem to fully fit together yet. But he might. I mean, he definitely could have let him. And did he give him a deal? Did he strike some deal?
Ham Jam, man in yellow, Rumpelstiltskin.
Could be. But did the man in yellow make a deal of some kind with Victor? I don't know. What do you guys think? Did the man in yellow let Victor live during the original massacre? Go ahead, Jackson.
Because
I don't
all
know.
monsters, all monsters need somebody to testify to their power. And if they kill everyone, there's nobody left to fear them. And a child's fear is what what created Fromville. The child's fear, hope, despair, and suffering.
Right.
So yeah, I think he let Victor live just simply because more suffering, more despair from a child.
Okay. What do you think?
I don't think he let Victor live.
You don't think so, Jackson? Why not? You don't think he saw
Julie
him at all?
saved Victor. I think Julie's story walked at some particular point and saved Victor.
Oh, I like that theory.
Victor, he ran out of there. We just don't see it. I know for a fact that boy was clean as a whistle. And then one thing, Eloise leaves, runs after Miranda, and then you go back to Victor, and he looked like he took a mud bath. Then he had stuff on his face and stuff. He was just too dirty, in my opinion. So he left the cellar. And I'm thinking he may have seen what happened, or and that's why he got so horrified. Maybe he's seen something happen to Eloise or something happened to his mom, and it wasn't really Smiley. And I think it happened during the eclipse too, so it got dark. I think
Mhm.
Julie story walked at some particular point during the story and saved him after he got mangled, let's say, so to speak. And then he ran back to the center and came out to the cellar, and then came out later.
Mm. Okay. What about you, James? Did the man in yellow let Victor live during the original massacre? Did he even see him?
I mean, he obviously let him live if it's a thing, right? I mean, because he's alive. So, the question
I'm
is
curious,
probably like
did
you
he
said, did he see him or
Yeah.
whatever? So that's a
Mm.
question, and we don't know. But we know Victor saw him because he did a crayon drawing or whatever. But I mean, I know Jackson's probably been on a bunch of the live streams and stuff, and I mean, all of you guys. I mean, the rest of the chat, Jackson, Sit and Spin.
Mm.
What a creative and deep thinking mind you guys have, and Jackson sure knows his just everything, not just Lovecraft. He has, he's been on the live streams for a while, and he's been dropping theories pretty deep. Unfortunately, I don't agree with a lot of them. I mean, I think you guys have heard my theories about the man in yellow and such.
Mm-hmm.
But very interesting, and I love to hear them. That's why I just like this one, sitting back and listening to you guys. It's pretty amazing, talking about all the lore and everything like that. But yeah, I think the question comes down to, did the man in yellow see him?
Mm-hmm. I guess actively let him live, like he interacted with him, or did he not get to see him at all, and so he kind of like just skirted by?
I think it goes back to what we haven't really fully figured out yet, as far as, in my theory anyway, and for lack of a better word, it's a game. The boy in white on one side, the man in yellow on the other, and they're just playing with these characters every cycle. It's the same characters over and over, and they keep playing the game or whatever. Nobody seems to have, air quotes, won yet. So I think they play with people. Why didn't they kill Randall? Why didn't they kill Boyd? There's a lot of questions about why, when a monster had a chance to kill somebody, didn't they? Because they like to play. So I think, Victor living isn't as much of a mystery as maybe some people make it out to be, but there's a reason for sure. Not just why did the man in yellow let him live? Why did the monsters let him live? How did he survive all that time? I think the boy in white helped him, but just like with Victor in the cave, they said, Victor, you keep coming down here, that kind of thing.
Right.
Almost like, we like you, we like you. We don't want to kill you, but you keep coming down here.
Keep messing with stuff. Because it's like he understands the rules.
Knowledge comes at a cost thing.
Right. He seems to understand that. Like they know that he knows, in a sense. Like he doesn't want to talk. And if they kind of have a hive mind where they kind of know what these people are thinking to some degree, like they know he's super locked in on his memories, but now he's starting to open up. Does that mean he's in danger now? Oh, poor Victor.
And, again, I love all the theories. And I think the theory that Jackson has about him leaving the cellar, my theory on that anyway, is that, whether he left or not, I would say maybe not. The reason he got dirty is because Christopher found him in the cellar and they fought or scuffled or something happened. That's why he's bloody and dirty, is because Christopher tried to kill him in the cellar. But whether it's Victor somehow looked out and got Christopher, or one of the monsters helped him, or one of the, like the boy in white, or an entity or something helped Victor take down Christopher, that's why he's dirty. But that's just, again, my theory.
If one of the monsters did, like in some weird way, not even really helped him, but like they didn't see Victor or notice Victor, like, because Christopher left the door open, so they kind of follow in after. Oh, that's brutal. But he didn't look like he got jacked up, though, did he? I can't tell. I can't remember the body that we see in the cellar.
Not when they were first in there, but Miranda put him there to hide for a reason. So maybe Christopher found them, maybe they didn't. I don't know. It's a good possibility. I like it. I think Victor did see the man in yellow. He might have even seen him eat his mom or rip his sister apart and just blocked it out. I think that could have possibly happened. The theory about him in the game, I don't. I think it is a game. They're making it seem. I think Lost. These guys are trying to do what they were trying to do in Lost that they couldn't do. And everything that we see from Lost, more than likely, we're going to see parallels in this show for sure. So I
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't be surprised if Eloise is alive when we see her later. Just like I can't remember her name from Lost. Someone help me out here. The
See,
lady from Lost
Dana
that
would
they found.
know. Dana's power is shut down on her. She got power right now. She'll be back, but she is the
Yeah, I can't remember her name, but yeah, they found her
Yeah, Dana
later.
would
She was
know.
missing. They found her later. So and then everybody's been coming back. So there's 47 people always in town that are playing. If anything happens where people come in, they're not supposed to, they get killed, and then you get and 47. If you drop down to seven, down below that, someone else comes into town.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, these are the same people coming from 1506, recycling every cycle. A piece of their soul stays there, and I think they can still be reincarnated into somebody else and come back, even though their ghost is there, kind of
Do you think, like, if
in a
the
way.
monsters, for instance, are kind of like each one of the monsters represents a town person to a degree, are the townspeople going to have to
Yeah,
come to realization of what their part was in the deal?
I think that I think the town has their own issues. If they're all reincarnations of these people, they have to settle whatever demon they have, so to speak.
Right, like the
Like I
Unkui
don't.
thing, like remembering. I was always curious if
Yeah.
everybody needs to remember sort of their part that was played in the original
Yeah,
story.
everybody has to remember. It's also symbolism of what I was talking about with the Gnostic and Buddha stuff. You have to remember who you really are in order to answer those questions and proceed. So these
Right.
characters
Well,
have to
especially with karma,
remember.
right? Like karma's a big thing where it continues, like, no matter, because you're reincarnated into something else, but that karma follows you. That's kind of even how it predicts what you're reincarnated into sometimes. Whether you go
Yeah,
up,
that's
up or
that's a
lower
thing
on
that's
the
out there.
sort of being hierarchy, something like that. I don't know the technical terms. I'm sorry. But it seems like, if
No,
you
I
did
completely
good in your
understand.
life, if you're reincarnated, you come back as like a higher being to eventually, like, you reach that super being state, right? Something like
Well,
that.
yeah. Basically, you open up your third eye by opening up your chakras, your kundalini, or whatever your Christ consciousness, which is like the spinal fluid going up to your from the back all the way down up to your cranium, which is where your pineal gland and your pituitary gland is. And once you merge them together, you open up your third eye, and that's basically being able to
River Tam
see
from
beyond the
Firefly
void
when her
the veil, the veil.
amygdala River Tam from Firefly when her amygdala was removed by the Alliance, and she was already psychic, but when they removed her amygdala, when you feel fear or anxiety or anything like that, your amygdala is what allows you to push it down and take control.
Mm-hmm.
But she didn't have her amygdala, so everything she felt, even from everyone else, because she was a reader, all that anxiety, all that fear, it was just pouring into her, and it basically drove her insane.
Mm.
That's what this place is, though. It's a
Yeah.
yep. There's a thing called the Dreamlands in another H.P. Lovecraft reference, and these
Mm-hmm.
I know that
Dreamlands,
one.
everybody who has fears and dreams can manifest there,
Yes.
including the outer gods and the elder ones and the old ones and the deep ones. Because the deep ones are pretty much the reference of the demigods or the
Yes.
Nephilim or the half human,
I
half
like the
angels or
cosmic
demons.
owl that can come in your dreams and give you prophetic dreams. I like that lore. That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
All that is tied to it, but it's like it's all a different It's all a crazy looking
Yes.
monster being that, if you look at it, can make you go crazy doing all these things, even though it's the same archetype. Like, it's all the same thing. So you can compare all of them, and everybody will be right. Like, honestly, you can't miss it in this show. And remember, overseas it's origins. So you have international, which is they're more condensed in their religions, because Asia is all together, and then you have Europe and Africa and Brazil and all the continents and stuff. Over here in America, we're more diverse with religion and all that stuff. So we have more people to communicate with and point things out, while over there, they're pointing the same things out, if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Let's see. We got a lot of folks in the chat talking. Let me go back up and read a little bit of what you guys are saying. Let's see. David says
Panjam
when Boy
has a
and
great comment.
hang on one second. David says when Boy in White took his attention away and called him to the merry-go-round, he could have seen Man in Yellow eating them. I mean, I'm curious to see what Victor's memory is fully going to be now. We kind of think we know what the memory of after the massacre when he walks through town is. But now knowing that the Man in Yellow was also in town, I'm curious to see how much of that memory changes, stays the same, who else pops in or pops out of the memory. Let's see what else you guys are saying. Yeah, I know, Dana. It's okay. You keep it on. We got this. We pray for your power and your flashlights. Oh God, you can't find them. Let's see. I mean, can the monsters, Pam Jam says, can the monsters come out only in the dark? I thought it was only at night, but it's only dark. That is totally a cool theory. Oh, you're talking about the eclipse stuff? Yeah, if there's an eclipse, that's going to be very interesting. If the monsters get to just walk around during the day, but it's an eclipse, so it's technically dark. Let's see.
I believe we will see one.
That will be interesting, which would, again, that could have been what happened with Miranda. It looks like she's going out. It was kind of daytime, kind of foggy out, I think. I don't think she went out. It was fully dark, but we don't know what time of day it was. So if an eclipse popped up on the townspeople in the middle of the day, I imagine I would be rushing somewhere. And she didn't know how long she had. And that whole scene that we see may not even be at night. It just is, it's dark in that moment. Smiley gets her. And then it's only like a couple hours later and he comes out. I don't really know because his memory is so jacked up. It's hard to know what's what. Let's see.
He's
David,
definitely an unreliable narrator right now.
For sure. Like, I try to give him a little leeway, but at this point, a grain of salt is less than a grain of salt to a degree. I don't know. About 50-50.
I was proud of Victor last episode. He was growing up. He's
getting there.
Bad when he yeah.
David says, I think the 12 monsters surrounding Smiley's rebirth are all reincarnated residents, but all 47 townies could be coming back or just Jade and Tabitha. And yet it's interesting because we got the 12 monsters. Is it 12? We got 12 surrounding Smiley, but we don't know how many monsters there are fully in the caves. I meant to do a slight head count. I hadn't gotten to it yet, just from season 1 of the monsters that we know of. And then, God forbid, they just start popping out some new monsters or something. Because if they just start with like 47 monsters coming out of the caves to take out each townie, that's crazy. They just hanging out down there somewhere. Because Jasmine hasn't popped back around. They ain't needed her anymore. So I don't know.
There's two timelines going on. You can separate and split those monsters in half. And if there's 3, you can, you get the idea, split them into 3.
It's true. It's hard to say. Again, Billy, feel free to drop your links for your book. It's Friday. That's right. What's up? Welcome. I'm trying to see. Heather says could be Man in Yellow, but since From Town seems to be in. Oh my goodness, y'all gotta use big words on me. Amalgamation of a bunch of all ancient lore. Anything goes, and Jada's more dramatic reveal for the plot, and I'm good with it. Yeah, it's definitely a whole hodgepodge of everything.
I agree. I agree with that 100%.
A
Mhm.
beautiful lady, shape-shifting spider, woman that tries to lure people into her lair, often in forest or near bodies of water, lakes, rivers, waterfalls, etc. It sounds like that could be. Oh, it's the Japanese mythology. Oh, on the Goro Gorguma, Gorgumo.
Yo, Gumo.
Hmm.
I like to hear you
Yo,
try them
Gumo.
before I help you.
Yo, Gumo.
Wait, what'd you say to me, James?
I like to hear you try to say them before anyone helps you with them.
I know I try. I try,
Uh,
and it sounds horrible, right? Thank you, James. I can't wait till the Fever After Dark we do tongue twisters, James.
I know we're getting there. It's getting closer.
It's getting.
I have a question if I'm
Uh-huh.
allowed.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And I'm totally sorry, or I don't know if sorry is the right word. I don't, I'm not on board with a lot of stuff that's been talked about because I have different theories, but that's okay. Everybody's got their own theory. That's the beauty of it, right? But I do have a question
Nothing wrong
about
with that.
a theory that you guys have been talking about, and I've heard it around before. What clues, I guess, or proof or clues, whatever, why do you guys think it's, I know Jackson said about Jade's beard and something about Jim, but I'm more of the single timeline theory instead of multiple timelines. Can you explain that a little bit more of why you think it's a multi-timeline thing? I guess is the question. I mean, it's interesting. I don't see it.
I can,
Oh, but
I can answer that if you want, or does somebody else want
sorry
to take
to
that?
interrupt, but it's almost 3 a.m. for me, so I'm gonna scoot off.
Well, thank you for hanging.
Yes,
Hope you have a great weekend. Great Mother's Day.
yes,
I do great Mama.
yep.
Well,
It's been
happy Mother's Day.
absolutely lovely to meet you all, and hello to everyone in chat.
Yes, thank you for joining us. And
Thanks,
we're going to
everyone.
continue doing this all
Or good morning.
for Friday nights to come. So feel free to hang out
Yes,
with us Friday
I
night.
Yeah,
shall.
I enjoyed it.
Right. Good night,
Have a good
everyone.
night.
Sleep well. Do
You
this
too,
when you.
honey.
I
You too.
mean, between her and Jackson, they know their shit as far as lore and stuff. So it's fun when we get people on that really know their stuff,
Oh, yeah.
literature. So I like it.
It's been real fun. I do enjoy it.
Do you guys remember in the first season when the Matthews family were first driving in a circle? You've seen one lap, train tracks,
Hmm.
power lines,
Oh,
all
yeah.
that
Dave's
stuff.
talked about that a little bit.
They go around again, and then there's nothing. That's two timelines. Now, when you go back to where
Well,
Julie,
how is that two
Tabitha,
timelines versus just they weren't there the next time? I mean, I'm just trying to figure out what's your reasoning that it's two timelines.
because I don't think that, in my opinion, everything's happening in chronological order. We're just seeing things the way they're showing us. So it could, that's two, that's
So
basically
was it
how they got in twice.
was it two RVs?
Two RVs.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, 100%. Like another thing, I don't want to digress too much further from the topic, but
No,
if
no,
you
go
really
ahead. Y'all
pay
are good.
attention to the RV, you can, from the very first season, it's not the same one where the man in yellow killed Jim in the third season. If you look at the roof of the RV, it's totally different. You have too many different things on top of compared to the original one. There's like maybe three. I think you see the little circle thing, whatever you call it, a little ventilation thing on top, and then another square thing in the corner, like three of them. The one in the third season where the man in yellow killed Jin had like five of them there. On top of it, they had writing on it, like if someone was pointing out the differences, the square was squared out on the other side, little dot, dot, dot. I don't think it's a map or anything like that, but I think it was to show the audience that it's a different, what do you call it? RV. Now, another example is when you go into the root cellar, and this is when I caught the first and second season, the doors on the root cellar are not the same. And they should be the same if it's the same timeline. If you look at the doors on the inside and the outside of it. Now, trying to think of another example. Now you mentioned it because you said it not that long ago. The beard, like Jay's beard, is way too long for someone to be there that long. Like I think there's been 3 weeks, I think, right, since Acosta's been there, maybe, and 3 months total, give or take, maybe. There's no way that that beard's gonna grow that fast. In the first season, Boyd barely had a beard. It was really short, and he had his little like the haircut was a little different. And every time he would ring the bell, you would see him be that way, but then he'll do it the next time, and he'll won't be in the same stuff, or his beard was different ever since the cave. Like everything, there's little bits and pieces of the show that I catch that doesn't seem like it should be the same timeline.
So then
So
how
I
does
don't
the
think
timeline work? Because this picture here I have, I also had one of right after they crash and Boyd's down there with them. That is what we see here. So that means this timeline has always been since they crashed.
Okay, so this one right here, if you look at the so I need the whole picture. That's not the whole picture
other than changing like a door or an RV or something like that, it doesn't seem like the people bounce between the timelines. Like we haven't seen the Jade with a long beard and a Jade with a short beard. We haven't seen.
They're not bouncing. They're not showing. They're not showing people bounce like going through thresholds. They're just showing what they're going through, like on the other side, kind of thing.
This one right here I have on the right is right after they crashed the Matthews family, and it has, other than the blood, it's the same pattern as this one here.
And the one driving around wasn't.
Right. So what I'm saying is, if I give you the fact that they're two separate RVs, so the moment at which they crash is a different Matthews family because of the RV.
Correct.
This RV has stayed the same throughout. So then how are we determining the timeline? Like James said, like I give you the fact that
we haven't seen the other RG since the first season.
So does that mean that they, it's confusing because that means they entered, but then we never get to see that timeline again?
We just see that pretty much. They didn't show us. They're not showing us the other side, like simultaneously them going together like twice in a loop. They just had them go in there like, oh my God, we're lost, and then boom, we're like, where are we? And then we see this. It just looks different to me. I don't think it's the same.
No, it's different. I totally get the fact that like the tops are different. I give you that. I'm trying to figure out the
make and model too, and the color
situation. No, it's totally different RV from the one that they're driving to the one that's crashed. Those are two different ones. I totally give you that. I'm not arguing that at all. I'm trying to figure out is, okay, if this is this timeline, then how are we veering off from these points like James was saying? So you also referenced the cellar doors, and I don't have those two pictures. I'll have to get the two ones that you're talking about, like the different ones. But when these characters are interacting, they seem to still be the same characters. They don't seem like they're interacting on different time, like from different timelines. They're interacting together as if they're in one timeline. And Jade's beard speeding up. Again, I give you that it's odd. But then again, things in this place are odd in general with healing.
They heal fast, yeah.
So how they're going to work.
Colony House.
Right, but Jade's outside of Colony House for the most part, so his beard is growing faster. So why is his beard growing faster and nobody else's? And why are people just in Colony House healing faster? So I give you that there could be something to that, but as far as like the timeline skewing off, I'm trying to figure out how that fits in with the particular pieces that you brought up. Like, because I give you that there's some interesting things going on here. And I'm not sure. I know, like James was, when we talked about originally, it could be as simple as the one that's driving in is one RV for set purposes, and this one was pre-set up like this crashed, and they didn't use two of the same RVs.
That's a very good possibility.
But then
It could
again, it
be.
is from, and I don't take away from the fact that there could be multi timelines going on here. I just try to figure out how that's being worked, because it doesn't seem as if this Matthews family is any different from the original Matthews family that comes in.
Yeah, it's just weird. I mean, it's totally still possible. I think anybody's theory can still be correct at this point. Those two photos you have up, the trees are even different. There's a tree right next to the top of the RV that's not there. Ethan's standing right where that tree should be.
Yep, there's
You
this tree
know,
right here.
so there's
is
a lot of
wrong.
differences. And, you know, if it goes back to what Jackson was saying, maybe it's because of the multi-timeline thing. I mean, it's a possibility. I just don't see it, but it's interesting. I just wanted to know some more details is all. So I find it
It's a
interesting.
parallel. It's parallel dimensions merged into one, like two dimensions that just bridge together, and the timelines are bridged together. I can't like figure a way out to explain it, but that's basically what happens. Like right now, like it's Ragnarok, or you have hell versus heaven going on right now in a specific spot, right? And these guys are just basically pawned for their war. So I think that these guys are just representations, like pretty much like a subliminal message or like a esoteric story behind it, kind of like like a symbolism meaning about everything. Doesn't have to necessarily end up a certain way, but like in these mythologies that we were speaking of earlier, most of them have a place, whether it's called the edge of the world, or an island that connects to the underworld or to other places, right? So these two stories going on at the same time, possibly more than two, but we'll just stick with two right now, are happening in the same place at the same time in two different worlds, kind of like combined into this place. I don't think these guys are showing us like them skip. They'll probably show Jade one day, Boyd do one thing, and then the next season you'll see something different. And you'll say, "Oh, his hair, his beard's this, and his hair looks like this, and oh my God, Boyd looks like he's wearing yellow a lot, or something to that nature." And it doesn't seem like he was doing it in the first season, and then the third season you'll see something different, or he'll go back to the way it was in the first season, kind of thing. So I've been catching like little things back and forth, like showing me that these are parallel realities merged into one, and they're both going through the same thing. So if you look at the cave painting, it looks like there was two rituals that was completed. One side looks like they're doing one thing, and on the other side, on the top, they're doing another. There could have been two sets of rituals that happened.
Oh yeah, because we have also the stones, those 3 red stones at the settlement, which are, I mean, I'm not saying that's necessarily a ritual per se, but it could be part of like a harvest ritual or something like that. Like we don't know what all the colonists had, right? Because they have this almost like Cabbage Patch garden totems around the place. So there's all sorts of rituals that the original townsfolk or colonists or whatever they were could have been performing at this place. Not to mention whatever they might have learned, like if they were coming from, somewhere in Europe, coming over to a new land, like, and they did find some, like indigenous people, did they combine sort of magics or lores together, and then more people, you know what I mean? And whatever this original entity is, just sort of gain the knowledge of all the mythos as people came in through. And if they are reincarnated, they brought whatever when they came in, right? Because all these people are bringing in these different sort of religions as they come into this place, different backgrounds and things like that. So, I mean, that would explain how this being knows so much different sort of religious mythologies in order to corrupt them and manipulate people into, believing things, making deals, and performing and doing things that they otherwise wouldn't do. There's a lot of stuff in here, man. I'm not gonna lie. You're doing a good job at
I agree.
tying in all the research that you and knowledge that you do have. in the vast world of mythology and lore and religion and stuff like that. So it is really cool to see how these things kind of manifest in the show. And then where's it going to take us? And if the flood comes, I mean, that's going to be really cool. Um, just like,
That's
because we
another
see
myth
that
though too.
stuff, we see those things in Victor's and or Eloise's drawings. I guess I think it was mostly Victor's. I can't remember. I know Victor did. I can't remember if Eloise had any flood drawings. But so is that going to happen again? Because I questioned, did each cycle have sort of the same repetitive nature to it?
I,
But now
I
with
think so.
it's almost slightly confirmed to a degree. Maybe not they get as far in each cycle, but at least Victor did get the man in yellow. He didn't seem to open up about the cicadas and the music box, but he did about the man in yellow. So did they get a cicada encounter or just a man in yellow encounter? Like, I'm still not sure on those kind of little notes.
Yeah, and
Do you-
I
talismans.
think I
Yeah.
think everything that we've seen happening right now is what happened in every other cycle. And
But
everything that
like the
we haven't
storm that
seen,
came,
we're gonna see.
like the storm that came when they did the tower, like James said, the talismans, we know that didn't happen during Victor's cycle. So I'm curious, like, did the cicadas happen during Victor's cycle? Do you think that actually
I
took
think so.
place?
I think the cicadas happened. I think Julie's the one that put the talisman there, story walking. That's another reference to what I believe she's been doing stuff from the beginning without us knowing. So she put the talisman there for Boy to find. She put the dog there, not the boy in white, so the dog can go follow and find the stuff. She's been helping this whole time. One of the Julies, anyway.
Well, I think it's all one Julie, though, right?
Well, he's talking about
I,
multiple timelines.
Because see,
yeah,
I see Julie's
at least
story
two.
walking as she's one Julie, and she's whatever the story walking is, astral projecting, time traveling, whatever it is allowing her to go to different points and interact and possibly change things. I don't necessarily, but then again, I don't see the multi
But
timelines.
yeah, he's talking about multi-timeline reason there's more than one Julia. I'm thinking.
Well, okay, so I'm gonna try to. Okay, so let's see. I'm trying to remember. Let me see real quick.
Look, dude, I've had so many theories that I've had to throw away and then try to come back to and tie together. I forget where my bits are at half the time. I still got to go back and find my older notebook somewhere.
Yeah,
Like original
I
Everything
kind of
I'm trying
believe
to remember is from memory.
I believe
But
Ethan and the evil entity, aka Man in Yellow, that you can't change the story. So I'm kind of that's
I
my
agree.
side of the theory. So Julie going back can only see the story, and that's going to play into helping solve the game or whatever. Not that she can change it, but she can see how things happened to be able to then tell present day Tabitha and Jade, because they're the key players, I think, in all of it. Personally, I
The
think
two souls, yes.
the original Jade helped set up some of the rules of the place back in the beginning. The original Jade, so that's why he's such a integral part to this, and Tabitha. For whatever reason, we don't know that full story, but Julie should be able to fill in some blanks. I'm hoping. But I mean, I love everybody's theory. I mean, makes your head spin. Makes my head spin.
So we're talking. Okay, so the cicadas, they were there every cycle. The man in yellow comes at the end of every cycle, whether no matter the progression, right? I believe three were picked every cycle, just like Julie, Randall, and Marielle. Now we don't know what's going to happen to Marielle yet. We don't know what's going to happen to Randall, but we do know Julie is story walking. Now is she a story walker because of that, or shit, or is it because something different? We don't know yet. But
Right.
my guess is that those three people, there's certain individuals, maybe the same soul, or in the 1506 up to now, who keeps being reincarnated. Then them three who get captured become either the man in yellow, like I said earlier, the ballerina chick, and then one of them becomes the good story walker, or maybe she's doing something else that we don't know of. I don't know. But them three happens every cycle. Even though there'll be different people, you're always going to get the same cicadas getting at least three people and putting them in the in the caves, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Then those in particular people will have that role. When it fails, the man in yellow maybe disappears,
Mm-hmm.
maybe he's done, and then Randall takes his place. For example,
Maybe.
not necessarily turning into the man in yellow, but has to take his place, and then it rinses and repeats every cycle.
Maybe.
And
It's possible. I
the
mean,
man in yellow now, Doug Hughes, he's pretty much the one that caught it now, and he's pretty much running stuff right now because he got those cicadas too, perhaps, and that's what made
could
him
be.
into that monster.
Possibly.
So you don't think
Oh,
the
hang
man
on. I
in
wanted to
yellow is the
welcome
evil
Michael
entity?
real quick to the panel. Welcome, Mr. Michael.
What's up, Michael? Your mic's muted.
You were muted on his hun, but you were with us.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome.
Now you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you now. Welcome.
Good to be here.
Oh,
What's up,
yeah.
Michael?
Not a whole lot. Just catching the stream after work.
Nice. It's the weekend. Right, you working for the weekend?
Oh, heck no.
Oh, damn it. Well, I was trying. Dude, shit. Well, welcome either way. We're glad you could join us.
Taking the weekend up.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, so
I think
you work for the
I think the
weekend.
man in yellow was a good guy, James. I think he was a good person like Boyd, who was trying to help the town and ended up becoming a monster, maybe a different way, maybe through the cicadas or whatever. And then I believe that he's also doing something moral as well, but I don't know what it is. He could be protecting something from something else. I don't know, but he's not evil. He's just doing his job, I think.
Mm.
So and that's just he's got he like I said, he might possibly be the father of whoever Sophia was in her time. She can't go that far back. Look at her outfit. And if that ballerina thing was hers, that wasn't made definitely nowhere near that time. That was Victor's cycle. So the man in yellow was probably also in Victor's cycle along with Sophia. And I'm thinking the previous man in yellow snuck in just like Sophia did, and maybe could have took over Doug, and maybe it wasn't the cicadas or something, like killed him and took his skin, and then killed Sophia, and then entered the town like that. Walter,
Okay.
I'm sorry, my dog's barking.
No, you're good. And what are your thoughts on Michael? Anything on the show that you wanted to share with us?
Oh, well, I mean, the recent Hollywood Reporter article said that, Man in Yellow is the big bad of the series. So I mean, it certainly seems like he or the entity behind him is evil.
He doesn't seem very
definitely a
nice.
shapeshifter of some kind.
Mhm.
How far back he goes, don't know. But the implication certainly seems to be that he's some type of like ancient evil entity doing naughty things.
Right. It doesn't seem very nice. Although he does talk about kindness, it doesn't seem to go well for those who are kind.
And he does say to Jim, whether ironically or not, I liked you. Kind of sorry to have to kill you, which is interesting, but it's hard to say whether he's just being sarcastic or actually likes the people but has to kill them anyway.
Right. Especially because he's like, oh, because you're going to miss, the next part, which is his favorite part, and says something similar to the priest, I believe, as well. And then lets us know what that part is.
And gives us that big toothy smile that's not terribly good seeming.
Doesn't seem very nice. Let's see, my thing is I thought he is the sort of embodiment of the big bad, the thing that was talking to Sarah at the caves. Which I could be wrong. I mean, I've been wrong about so much on the show. But I take him as the big bad entity, or at least the form, the embodiment, the manifestation, whatever physical it can, it's probably something much more grand than just what we're seeing, but that's what it can kind of embody itself here as.
And I still have some questions. Because I know that there's a few images, either drawings or paintings, that we haven't seen manifest in the show yet, that are of this kind of like shadow figure entity looking thing. There's like an old tweet from MGM that's entitled "The Monster," which basically has kind of like the black shadowy figure, and then kind of comes on with like red eyes. In Henry's basement, on like the back wall, there's kind of like a shadowy figure that has like some kind
There's a lot of different
swirly wisps around it.
Yeah, there's a lot of these different shadowy figures, and even some monstrous ones. I know Jackson was talking about the one with the red eyes, the one that shapeshifts almost like a
That's the one he was talking about.
Yeah. There's the one in the opening of the show as well, kind of toward the end, where you have like the little kind of kid-looking monsters, and then you have this like kind of shadowy figure, with kind of like swirly stuff around it or whatever.
Like
so
he's transforming.
That yet. Potentially.
Yep.
So there may be some kind of like, original form or something that's much darker than just
what we see
spaces or whatever. Yeah.
He's 100% right about that, because after he just made that comment, because I didn't know that he said the big bad is the man in yellow, like 100%. Then that means his true form is the dark red eye entity Neolephatet. Like I was telling you about, whether that's going to be his name or not. That's who he represents. I'm almost positive now. So that's probably if so he's the big bad, because in H.P. Lovecraft, them two guys are the same entity. So, like for example, Neolephatet can transform to anything. So he uses his main avatar as the dark man, the black man with the eyes, but he also turns into Hastur, the Yellow King of Carcosa. So he's both characters. So if they're using him, they could be, and he's the big bad, and using him to one character, then he's definitely the other one as well. I didn't know until Michael made that comment.
I might offer one potential counterpoint, sort of, or different kind of theory of it. So if he's the big bad, I mean, there's still kind of the question: is he also essentially like the cicada curse entity / ballerina? We know there's like spiders out in the forest. Is that a separate entity or a different form? But if he ends up being the cicada entity, one kind of interesting thing about that is that the cicadas that have whatever it is, like the 17-year kind of cycle where they like go dormant or whatever, and then come out and breathe and then go back dormant again, they're actually, I think, like kind of black with like big, like bulgy red eyes. So potentially there could be like a visual metaphor going on there, having kind of the shadow figure having big red eyes. So if he is the cicada entity, then there may be some kind of overlap there. Maybe.
Could be. Definitely.
I think he's gonna look like a big, tall, very, very black. And I'm not even talking about dark brown skin color black. I'm talking about the actual color black with red eyes. A man walking around, shadow figure. Maybe you're gonna see something real tall like that. I think.
I mean, it could be. Like I said, the way that they kind of add in so many different lore to this, I wouldn't be surprised.
I also believe we're going to see a witch.
Normal in Victor's time until the place broke him and he dies, and the entity can take his form before the 70s massacres, says David, possibly.
And previously I talked about some mythology maybe underlying the kind of the magic tree, because it seems like there's a couple of things that it may have kind of parallels to. In my opinion, it's drawing mostly on two, one of them being Norse mythology, where you have like Yggdrasil, which is like the world tree that connects to like 9 realms of existence, which itself supposedly has 3 roots that connect to different realms, which could be
100%.
Like subtle reference to that in the root sign. And then the other one being Buddhist mythology, because when we originally hear Miranda's story, she goes into the park with Henry, she drops acid under the tree, and then after that she starts seeing all of her past lives. Well, you have the exact same kind of thing in Buddhist mythology, where Buddha meditates under the Bodhi tree for whatever it is, 49 days before achieving nirvana or awakening, at which point he kind of transcends the like karmic like samsara cycle of birth, suffering, death, rebirth, progression, until you try to essentially perfect yourself and then transcend that to where you no longer die and are reborn, but are essentially like a perfected being. After which point the Buddha then could see all of his past incarnations back to the beginning, and that's what's part of Henry's monologue about Miranda, is that once she started seeing everything, she saw all of the previous chosen people, which we now know were her past lives, and he said every single one of them. So there's like a, I think, pretty definite parallel kind of between the two of those, as far as the kind of meditating under the tree and then seeing all of your past lives sorts of thing. So I think that's kind of
Agreed. Also the tree of knowledge.
right. Tree of the knowledge of good and evil or whatnot. You have the Garden of Eden.
Garden of Eden. Yes.
The imagery
tree of life
in the,
there too.
Well, and I'm thinking of the tapestry in Ellis's room, which is like directly Garden of Eden reference there. It looks like.
But I take it back to Sumerian culture, though. I went when I was doing or trying to make my channel, I should say. I went from Catholicism all the way back to Sumerian mythology with all their gods and goddesses and their names and their archetypes and who they originated from, etc. And the original Garden of Eden, a lot of people may not believe, was here on Earth, and it's basically in Antarctica, and that's where they genetically spliced DNA to create different type of beings for workers, and they ended up making Homo sapiens sapiens, and that's us. A lot of people don't believe that, they don't know that, but June 7th, around that time, the people in the United States, we will have disclosure, and we can talk about it then.
Sorry, my cat was knocking some bits over. It's being a bad cat there. We got a lot of bits, lots and lots of bits. Let's see what else we got. I was gonna look at some more images. Let me go back to the right one on this episode. Oh, where'd it go? That's the one. All right, I found him. So, question. Were you guys thinking about this hand popping out and the ring on the finger? And I think there's a ring gate going on.
I still think that's Abby, to be honest. Abby pulled him down. That's her
Yeah,
grave.
I see it's Abby. But why is that? I gotta find another image I have, because I swear that ring looks thicker than her original ring.
But that's where he buried her, right? That's her grave.
Yeah.
That he's going.
No,
and talking
I'm not
to.
denying that that's not her hand.
Certainly in the
No, I'm trying to think who else could it be? Who would be, you know?
Well, I'm not denying that that's her hand.
Sophia.
I'm just curious whose ring that is, because I swear, let me find this other
Me
image
too.
I have. The ring is what throws me off. It seems thicker than her original ring, but I have a lighter image of it, which kind of highlights it a little bit.
Like a man's ring, not a
like
woman's
Jim's
ring.
Kind of reminds me, was like, how does she have Jim's ring, or is he gonna like grab it? I don't know. It just tripped me out. Let's see.
Doesn't the ring fall down the stairs or something like that?
Right, in the trailer. That's what it appeared.
Okay, so is that the same ring on this person's hand, or is that one that just so happens to be at Colony House? A totally different ring.
I mean, we don't.
The one he picks up anyway.
I don't know. That's why I'm curious about it, because it's tripping me out a bit. Let's see. When I see it looks thicker, and then I have a picture of her somewhere too. Did I not put it in here? Where is she? Here she is. So I don't know. I know it's hard to tell, but I swear this ring is bigger than this ring. But it's hard to tell because that's a close up of the hand. But like mind you, the fingernails and stuff like that match. Like it looks like her hands. I'm just questioning the ring. Jim's ring, right? Like that's what I thought. But I'm like, why would she be like messing around with Jim's ring? And it just doesn't make sense.
I don't remember what Jim's rings looks like, to be honest.
It's a bigger ring, like a male's ring would be. It's a thicker band, but it's a plain. Again, it's a kind of a plain band like theirs. Abby's and
Does he have
Boyd's.
the? Does it have the? Has he ever took it up and
No,
seen
we
the
don't know what
infinity
the
symbol in
inside of
there?
it look. We don't know that
Okay.
part. Yeah, it's a
But then
basic
again,
gold
what
band.
would Jim's hands or rings be doing at Abby's grave when Boyd's talking to Abby?
Exactly.
I mean, the implication seems to be that it's maybe her.
Well, I'm assuming it's her hands. I just couldn't
Well-
figure out why the ring. It just seemed like it was thicker, or I'm just looking at it too closely.
Yeah, that I don't know.
It does.
It's a hard call.
It all seems like it's a hallucination, since when he pulls his arm out, he like puts his foot down. There's like no hole there.
Right.
It's like he was definitely seeming to like see something or.
I took it as maybe Abby was trying to pull him down the grave to well, we don't. It looks scary to us, but symbolizing that they need to go down to the underground to the tunnels.
Oh, it could be too.
But it could. I could be wrong.
Well, it's hard to say. I mean, is he gonna go? But you think he's gonna come back here and try to like start talking to his wife again? And but I got you now. You're trying to like pull him back up from the grave. Start digging up the grave.
I
Like,
have
is my
no
wife
idea.
even still in here? Like, dude, you've been popping up in spider webs and shit. I don't know.
Maybe it
It's
doesn't mean
crazy.
nothing. Maybe the hand pulling him down means something totally different than the ring that falls down the stairs.
I think we just
Probably.
need more information.
That
Probably.
could
I
be
was just
Boyd's ring.
curious as why
I'm
the ring
thinking that
looks
maybe
so
that was
thick.
Boyd's ring. Like he found his own ring that's on his own, like, on his finger or something like that. Not Jim's, not Abby's.
Maybe. Like I said, I don't know. It was just, it kind of tripped me out, and I couldn't not like look at it or think about it because he still had his ring on his hand. So I was like, well, then it's not like it took his ring or something. I was just
Right.
tripping a little bit, kind of like
Well-
I guess I was just on shrooms. Maybe I don't know.
Playing off of what Jackson said, it could
It's
be
weird.
his identical ring, just like the bracelet was the identical bracelet, and it could be something Acosta finds in the basement.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed.
That's
I
another
think
one.
she's gonna. I was thinking she may find the ring, or it's just gonna drop out of nowhere. I know it sounds crazy, and I also think she's gonna find a picture of Sophia. Maybe I don't know what it's gonna look like. She's gonna find something down there that's a picture, and either it's gonna be symbolism or a map to the rainbow sky. The lonely
Mm.
dragon finds the map to the lonely sky and gives it to the Kramanako. She's gonna find it and give it to Julie.
I think eventually it's going to be Victor giving the big old map of Fromville to Jade and Tabitha. So we got two common uncles, and then hopefully that'll help them be
I think
less
we do.
lost. They'll know where stuff around town is, since Victor's been keeping a map for the last whatever 40 years. Nobody's really
Right,
agree with
drawn it
that.
Boyd
narratively
just
yet.
like Boyd just started like kind of making his own map, so it would be interesting if he would actually go back or somebody would and get that map out of the Peach truck.
I'm just waiting for Jade
you
to
look
totally
at-
spin out when he's like, "Wait, you've had a map this entire time? What the-
Right?
Why didn't you
Like-
tell us?
Yeah, he's
You
funny.
never asked."
When he was meditating, I think I almost cried to death because he was sitting there out of nowhere and like he's focused and then he goes, "Fuck! Oh my god!" I started laughing. I was dying.
He's
almost woke
trying
up the
so
whole
hard
house.
to figure it out. He's just having a hard time with it.
Yeah, I was watching that in the watch party with Julie last week. I was like, oh, it looks like he's trying to do like a sensory deprivation sort of thing, kind of like in Stranger Things, to try to either meditate or do a hallucination or something, kind of like Miranda did on LSD.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
that's
because that's what
symbolism
he
of
started
opening up your
getting
third
into
eye.
now, where he's trying to get the mushrooms and stuff. Like he's fully about to go into Tripville.
Called that one a year ago.
Oh yeah,
Some
he is
people have
going
used
down.
ayahuasca. Some people have used
Yeah,
shrooms,
ayahuasca,
psychedelics,
peyote,
Yeah, be careful with that
honey.
stuff. man.
DMT. They'll use that stuff to try to like knock the third eye open. I wouldn't recommend it. Like 100%, I wouldn't recommend it because it's. I'll try to describe it to you as best as I
There it
can. It's
is.
like having a child drive a car who's never driven before drunk. if that makes sense. You're not going to understand or do anything. You need to meditate yourself. And I recommend controlled out of body experience, which is you lower your heart rate to like 47 beats per minute, and you kind of like trigger the out of death experience, and you'll astral project, and you'll see everything. You'll see everything the way the world really is, and until you see it, you wouldn't believe anything I told you.
Right. David says the ballerina might be a recurring object as well, for sure. And Percy says Acosta finds something in that room. I'm hoping so. She better find something, even if it's not the map, just another piece, even if it's maybe a piece to the kimono lady, a piece to the boy in white, anything, right? Like, I'll take anything at this point.
Well,
my theory on
in
the
that book, Dreams of the Witch House. Sorry about that. Go ahead, man. I apologize.
I was just going to say that my theory on the mushrooms kind of stemmed from. It seemed like they were using some kind of like shamanic symbolism a little bit with Miranda, or not Miranda, with Tabitha.
Jade.
Originally I was talking about Tabitha, just because of kind of the way that they handled some of the scenes in. I think it was season 2 when she rebuilt the Inuksuk, stone formation that the Ankui kid had knocked down in the cave. And then Ethan rebuilt it on the porch with the block puzzle, which she then took to the cave, rebuilt it, essentially kind of completed like almost like shamanic test or that sort of thing. At which point all the Ankui kids come out, lay on hands, and this kind of like sort of shamanic thing going on there, where it's essentially confirming that she's kind of one of the chosen people since she completed this kind of ritual test. And then as far as the mushrooms, I was thinking, well, if this is something sort of shamanic, then you have, indigenous shamans will use psychoactive substances like Jackson said, like magic mushrooms or ayahuasca, peyote, mad honey, that sort of thing to induce kind of like a vision quest sort of thing. And so my thinking was that they would have to try to recreate Miranda's accidental vision quest, where she had, ingested LSD and kind of accidentally triggered it, which connected her back to her past lives. And so my thinking was, well, they're going to have to do that. And then you had this kind of foreshadowing moment with Randall and Julie on their way to the ruins the first time, where she's like, well, what are we doing out here? And he's like, oh, I'm going to go forage for mushrooms. I'm like, oh, okay. So at some point, probably they're going to end up using some magic mushrooms to recreate, Miranda.
Well, he's got them here. I mean, he grabs these mushrooms and checks them out.
This was
I'm curious to see,
saying.
like, what, if he even knows, because there was a book that Ethan had, and I think it might have been season 2, season 3. I can't remember, but it was just on the table, and it had to do with like plant life, like native plant life kind of thing, or different kinds of
Jade
plant.
and Jade
So I'm curious
early in the
to see
series
if he's gonna know like the difference, because I mean, you gotta be careful. You just go out there and just take some random mushroom.
Right.
You don't want to just go, and then on top of it being a place like Prom, I mean, I would assume you're safe if you know your mushrooms, but. And I don't know enough about mushrooms to just be going and grabbing the fuck.
Right.
Like, is he really going to take this? Like, does somebody know? I'm hoping somebody in town at least lets him know. I mean, I know he's done drugs before he came in.
Yeah,
but
he's done a ton of drugs, so he may
right. So I'm hoping he's smart enough, man, to know the difference.
And if nothing else, could probably go and ask Randall, because it sounds like
I'm hoping, right, like
forged.
that somebody or go to Fatima or somebody that knows maybe psychedelics, because he goes to Don and Don's like, he may not come back, so he's making it seem like he's gonna let people know, if not just one person, that, hey, look, I'm about to go on a trip in the woods. I'm just curious to see, like, are these the ones he takes, or is this just
I assume that he tells Boyd, since one of the episodes is the long strange trip or whatever, and the description says Boyd and Jade go on mind-bending adventure to get info or whatever. So I'm assuming that he tells Boyd, and hopefully Boyd's like, we should probably make sure these are the right ones and not the ones that kill you.
Because I'm curious if these are the ones he ends up taking, or if he's like, no, hang on, look, we got a book somewhere that they find, and he's like, no, these are the shrooms. And then, of course, this being the abundant forest of magic that it is with things, it's somehow just, hey, you just trail la along, and there's the mushrooms.
Like, I was going to say, I mean, it seems like there's
these, like you just walked into them. Like you just walked into
notion
these.
that kind of the town provides. So if you need something, kind of manifest it.
If you go out in search of it, it tends to provide it for you. Like, it doesn't fully just come into town. You have to go search for it.
which I think is part of why when he finds them, he's like, "Well, I'll be damned."
Right.
I needed this, and then magically, look, here
And
they
it's
are.
the same thing with Boyd, right? He went out and searched. He's like for resources or things. He didn't know exactly what, but he got several things that he was even
Finds
like, "Well, I'll be
goats and
damned."
livestock and the talismans.
Right. And so, and then they go out. They find the little village or settlement, with all the crops that seemingly are. Even though it's winter, that field seems to be just fine, no problems, and it still seems to be fine, even though they took down or messed with the totems that were there, the wood statued things that Jade messed with. Although we'll see baby scarecrows pop up, from those images, it still seemed like those crops were just perfectly fine. So I'm curious
I
about
have a
that place. Go
I
ahead.
have a question.
Uh-huh.
Okay, now when it comes to the Ankui kids, I'll start with them.
Mm-hmm.
Have you noticed any, like, I've noticed, and I don't know if it's just me, I've seen Tien Chen in the background. I've seen Tom in the background. They're supposed to be dead, but and not in the show, but they're still there walking around. Like
What
when
do you mean?
like when Tabitha was talking to Julie in the last episode or the one before that by the car, you see an Oriental lady that looks just like Tien Chen walking around
Hang on.
in the
You talking
background.
about hang on. Let me see if I got an image of it or not. You said when they were outside the diner?
When she first runs in the when she, I think, yeah, by the yellow car. Let me see. I don't
Mm-hmm.
take pictures or nothing. I can only tell you. Well, yes, they're right side of the outside the yellow house, and then there's a car, and then
You
you
talking
see,
about that lady?
yeah,
I
that's
mean,
Tien Chen, ain't it?
I
And if she,
don't
and you'll
think
see her move because
so.
that's when she's behind the buggy. She walks towards the house, and you'll see
I
her
mean, I
wearing the
don't
skirt.
think it's Tien Chen, but I could see like a resemblance to Tien Chen.
And then there's another one that looks like Tom the bartender with the same white shirt and the black vest walking in the background. I don't think it's a coincidence. Maybe I don't know, but
It
that's what
could. I
I've
mean, it
seen
may
so
not
far.
be. I mean, especially with like some of the other characters, they kind of seem like they could be. Like some people think some of the characters could have been Martin or Chris, like not Christopher. I'm trying to think now, but I mean, it could be. I don't know. What do you guys
So
think? Y'all see Tien
I
Chen?
pointed little things like that out. I didn't, I tweak sometimes. Sorry.
No, you're good. Look, man, I see all kinds of stupid shit in this show that ain't real. So,
I mean, I think it's just an extra, but it's hard to tell.
look, like I said, I can never outlive the caulk gun incident, so I can't talk.
And then I see one that looked like Father Kotri. So I've seen three so far. Now the Unkui kids is what I wanted to get at, and then it reminded me of this right here that I was telling you. The
Mm-hmm.
Unkui kids, I think. So you remember the pictures in Henry's house? You have two sets of twins next to each other. It looks like they're painted like Siamese together to the face, but they're not, to trying to represent that they're twins. One of them has a left eye injury, the other one has a right eye injury.
But hang on, what you
I
talking about? The
think,
kid? Are you talking about
yeah,
the
the
images?
Unkui kids.
Are you talking about the Brandis paintings? I'm sorry.
Yeah, Miranda's paintings in Henry's house. Yes,
Yeah. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to make sure I was following. My bad.
that's the reincarnation of Elgin and Clara. Elgin and Clara are those Unkui kids. They both got the same injury on the opposite eye, and they're both in Colony House.
It
There's
could be.
there's one Asian. It looks like he's Asian Unkui kid. That's Kenny. Then you have the other. Yeah, I don't think he was Asian, but Indian or other boy that was doing the things with his hands that Father Kotri does. He would be another reincarnation of an Ankui kid, I believe.
Could
And
be.
the girl, Kelly was her name, that got impaled and tethered.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's
Kelly.
another Ankui kid. And you see them like with the injury on her forehead. And then I think Muriel's another Ankui kid that was reincarnated running around in this room. I just see that she was the most palest one, and compared to the Ankui kids, the two that ran up to Tabitha would be the ones with the the twins, in my
Mhm.
opinion. And I can't remember the other one so far. And I think the eighth one would have been the boy in white. And I
Okay.
think that's Ethan. The reincarnation of him is Ethan. So running around, but he's still alive, not dead.
As far as the boy in white, I
While
have a totally different theory on him. But go ahead.
the boy in white does represent Nirvana. He does represent Michael was saying, the Buddhist and the six Bordos and in that mythology. The boy in
Mhm.
white is not bad, and that's another thing I wanted to see if we could talk about. I see
Yeah,
the
I'm
boy in
still
white in the last
totally on the
episode.
fence with him. Like the boy in white, I'm totally on the fence.
I think he's
Hang
neutral.
on one
He has
second.
to.
Hang on one second. What's up, man? New watchers on the wall. We missed you the other night, but welcome. Can you hear us? You're live. What's up, man?
Hey guys, how y'all feeling today?
Doing good, man. We missed you the other night, but I'm so glad you joined us tonight.
Yeah, it's been so crazy. We just finished the live and I said, let me join y'all for a few minutes before I go to bed.
Yes, thank you for joining us.
Yes, for
How's
sure.
it been, man? It's like I tell everybody, From brings us all back together. It's been all the family gets to come back and hang out. It's been a minute. It's been since last season, man. How you been?
Been amazing. Been amazing. It's glad to be with you guys. Season 4 is here. We're excited.
Oh
Welcome,
yeah.
welcome.
So what do you got some thoughts? We talking about the man the man in white, the boy in white. He about to be the man in
Yeah,
white.
y'all said it right. He's the man in white now for sure. We
I
got the
keep
man in
saying
white,
it, and then I
the
try to
man in
correct
yellow.
myself.
He's at least the tween in white.
I'm
Right.
telling you, he didn't got big on us. I mean, he's an interesting character. I've seen some crazy theories on him, man. I saw one where they were talking about that he may have been one of the kids that was sacrificing, you know, the man in yellow's son. And in some ways he's kind of like upset and angry about the whole process. Like they were saying that the man in yellow convinced people to sacrifice their children, and he sacrificed his own to kind of, you know, start everything. But his son, or the boy in white, supposedly is almost like a separate entity that's not happy with what his father did. So I've heard all kind of weird stuff. I just wish that he would stop with all these cryptic messages. Tell us what's really going on, bro. You know, oh, you asking the wrong question, man. Just tell me what it is and what I need to do, you know?
Agreed.
Right.
But he
He's
kind of gives a reason
definitely-
why he doesn't.
You said what now?
Well,
I mean, he kind of gives a reason why he doesn't.
Right.
When he talks with Victor at the end of season 3, where Victor is all like, you know, I thought you were my friend, and he says, well, I am. He's like, well, then why don't you help? And he says, because I tried with Christopher, but the implication was that things went badly during that cycle, and so now he's taking kind of a more hands-off approach, and trying not to, you know, spoon-feed people before they're ready.
I like that.
My take on the
that's
boy
very
in white
possible.
is that he is aging for a reason. And I don't know if it's just me. Look at this picture and look at his clothes. His pants don't look like they're turning yellow to you? Or is that just my vision? Like when something yellow starts to get off colored and something white gets off colored and starts to turn yellow, look at his pants. But everything else is still white. His socks, his shoes, and his shirt. He's slowly transitioning through time to the man in yellow.
You think so?
Not to me
Yeah,
personally.
I think sooner or later when he grows up, he's going to be wearing yellow. Unless I'm wrong, I mean, I can't really see the picture too well.
Or he
but
needs
I
to
see
do some tie with bleach or something. We don't know. I'm just playing.
I agree with that, but then it's like, why is only his pants discolored and not everything else? He's been there the same amount of time. I think it's trying to show us something like symbolism.
Or it's just a weird cast of the film.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering too, because it could be that, or like sometimes with the lighting and stuff like that, we don't know their lighting situation. A little bit of that green trees around him, that cast of green can get on there and it could kind of mess it up. So who knows?
Well, his whole mannerisms
I agree
are
with that, but not the
interesting.
shirt and the pants. It's the same angle.
Like, I don't know why he's fully white, but it goes even further than that, because the way he interacts with Tabitha or any of our characters in the show compared to how we've seen the man in yellow interact is totally different. Like, he is interacting at first almost like a spiritual element, kind of like he's kind of there, he's not talking, and then he's kind of whispering to Sarah, like he's not verbally just shouting out to her. It's almost like he's whispering to her to tell her to go through. It's nothing like the man in yellow.
Well, I
and
think
how
he was
he
actually
interacts.
talking to her psychically, like his.
Well, that's what I mean, like
lips
whispering in
weren't
her
actually moving.
head. Yeah, that's
But-
what I mean, like whisper. I'm sorry, I mean, like whispering in her head, right? Like he's
Yeah, totally.
he's not like verbally talking to her. So, and then he goes into this transition of verbally speaking to like Tabitha and physically interacting with her. Again,
Did you guys discuss like why it seemed like Henry was able to see him this time around as well? Did y'all discuss that? I'll be curious to know what y'all thoughts were.
No, we haven't, but that's a good.
Yeah, we hadn't even talked about that yet. But his whole, like, again, it goes back to how he interacts with these characters. He does not interact in any way that's the same as the man in yellow. Like he's very almost robotic to some degree.
Well, I
but
feel like
yet
he kind of shows
He
up.
wasn't
to
like that in
whoever
the
he
beginning.
wants to
Though in
show
the
it.
beginning,
right. So that's what I'm saying. Like he's very strange in how he doesn't interact as, like, not that the man in yellow / Sophia, whatever it is human, but it interacts more humanesque than the way the man in yellow interacts. The man in yellow is highly more cryptic, highly more like just popping in and popping out, whereas like the man in yellow seems to be more physical. Like he did pop wherever he came from. Like we don't know if he just like popped in, right? He seemed like he just kind of popped in right there, but we don't know from where or how that situation. Because that was a weird situation to begin with. Because you also have Julie popping in, and then
he
that
couldn't
was
teleport and story walk.
that was a whole weird situation. Because the way he actually, then comes into town is weird. So I don't know. It's very strange. The man in yellow, I kind of understand better than the boy in white. Like the way he maneuvers.
I can tell you my theory.
Yes, please.
All right. So yeah, in a nutshell, and I can kind of give you my reasoning for it, but I think the boy in white is actually the avatar or the spirit soul, whatever you want to call it, of the original magic tree, and is acting as kind of a collective unconscious of the Ankui kids who were sacrificed and were told a story of hope. And then they poured that hope into the roots that were kind of above their head in the cave they were sacrificed in, and essentially created this magic tree, essentially as kind of a, if you want to call it, like an engine of their own salvation, essentially trying to save themselves, basically praying to be saved, essentially. And I think that in that process, they kind of, if you want to call it, like imprinted themselves on it, since they were the ones that created it. And so I think that the tree itself then, grew from the roots and kind of incorporated kind of the again, collective unconscious of the Ankui children into it. And so the tree itself is essentially trying to help save the kids. And the boy in white is essentially just kind of like an interface, like an avatar or kind of like a physical manifestation of that. And so he's trying to push along the quest, trying to help the two parents to complete the quest to save the kids. I'm kind of as the kids' own, essentially trying to save themselves kind of through this tree. And it's kind of what keeps bringing the parents back, keeps trying to reawaken them each cycle so that they continue the quest, and then tries to kind of guide them along. But it sounds like this cycle, since things went badly in the previous cycle with Christopher and maybe other ones, that just ended catastrophically, where either he dies or the other parent dies or the entire town dies. This time he's basically saying, I'm taking a hands-off approach. I'm letting you guys find out for yourselves. Maybe I'll just kind of apply a soft hand, guide you in the right direction, but you have to figure it out for yourselves. And it seems like this time things are going considered better, since they sent Tabitha to meet Henry and get her backstory, so she knows her place in the story. And then when she finally awakens, hopefully she doesn't, reject it and go crazy, like Christopher did when Boy in White was trying to spoon feed him the information, in the basement, when Victor's kind of telling the story of what the Boy in White had told to Christopher, and Christopher was like, no, this place lies. And so this time he's kind of like, okay, I'm going to let you figure it out for yourselves, and then hopefully you'll actually accept it this time, and hopefully maybe actually complete the quest and save the kids, but we'll see.
See, I was kind of wondering, and I can't remember, because I think when we saw Christopher talking to the boy in white, like it was kind of muted out. I forget what season that was when Victor thought it was initially Jasper.
Right at the end of season 3, episode 8.
But the thing was, like, I wonder what the boy in white actually told him, because most of the time when we see the boy in white speaking, it's like it's always like almost like riddles and kind of stuff. It's like, how can people, and I don't know how he's communicated with people in the past, but it seems like when he communicates now, it's never
it's definitely being very cryptic.
Yeah, like, how can I do what you're telling me to do when you're always telling me to do something and I gotta decipher what the heck you're telling me to do? You know what I'm saying? And I don't know how he talked to Christopher in the past, because they kind of muted it out when when Victor walked in and saw Christopher talking to the boy in white. But when we see the boy in white talk, it's never straightforward answers. So could that not be a reason why people are not able to do what you're telling them to, because you're not straight up with it? It's always like this cryptic, weird.
Yeah, I think it's causing a problem this cycle, and hopefully they eventually resolve it.
Yeah.
And just the way he told, like, you're not asking the right questions. Know the tree, it may not take you back there because things have changed. And it's cryptic in the sense of what has changed. Is it because they took the slips out of the bottle tree, or is it just because now you've moved on past that part of the story and you're no longer able to activate that, like that, check that off of the game board, that, you know, it's closed off from being able to be used in that manner.
And it could also be because the trees and stuff are moving, so it may be that
I was about to say that,
it's physically reconfiguring and getting smaller
That
since
too.
the trees are, you know, closer together.
And he definitely ain't going to give the answer to that. So again, because my thought was because they took the slips of paper out that created the melody. I thought that is kind of what soothed the tree, kind of like soothing the children, so that it would take them to an accurate place, as opposed to the normal faraway trees that are tied to the children are more chaotic because they don't have the soothing motion of the melody attached to it.
Well, like Boyd says, we still don't know the rules of this place.
Right.
So we don't know why the trees operate the way they do, why some people go.
Right, that's just my theory on the
people don't.
trees. Just thinking of how chaotic they are, like children, and if they were made from the children to a degree.
And just circling back to what the boy in white said in Victor's monologue, we didn't hear much of it, but from what I remember, he was trying to tell Christopher that he needs to go through the tree in order to, you know, go and save the kids. We didn't hear much of the rest of it. But
You're right.
Victor then,
That's
you know,
true.
ran off and told Miranda, you know, whatever the boy in white had said to Christopher, since Christopher kind of rejected the revelation. It was like, no, I'm not doing that. You're lying, blah, blah. So Victor goes off and tells Miranda all the stuff the boy in white told to Christopher, and then Miranda essentially hid them in the root cellar, and then ran off to try and go through the tree and like kind of complete the mission. But then ended up getting got by Smiley. I think there was some other stuff that went on, but we'll have to see what that pans out.
Oh yeah,
I agree 100%.
Percy,
that's what I remember. You said he had to go to the tree.
Rotate. Absolutely, Percy. Yeah, the trees could be moving. I mean, we know that's almost to a degree. I hate to say a fact in a place
Victor
like
was
this.
That's
what I'm going to get to. No, that's what I was
Oh.
going to say. I'm just going to say it. I was going to say Victor did say that, but in a place like this, it is hard to say like a fact, because I swear every time I think we have something that's a fact, they add something to it or twist it or change it that like fucks with my head. It makes me think, okay, well, I don't know anything anymore. But from what Victor tells us, the trees are moving. He's been calculating them and writing it down in his little notepad. And it does appear as if they move. So that could be a plausible reason why this is not working in this time.
Yeah.
Right. And in the diner with Ethan, Ethan asks, are they closer? And he says, or he asks, like, are they closer or further away? He says it's closer. And then Ethan's like, is that good or bad? And he's like, they're closer. It's bad. Or something like that.
Right.
I saw something on TikTok where they were saying that the trees could be moving because of Julie's story walking. And when she goes back and changes things, it kind of messes up the town and things like that. And
Like a butterfly effect.
Yeah, exactly. And they explained it way better than I did in the little video. But I really like that idea. And that was why, like, what's that thing that's missing in the town? Even though there's a sign there, it's a
the motel.
The motel.
Like
the motel.
The
Yeah,
sign
it used to be the Star Magic Motel. The sign got broken.
Yeah,
The motel's in a
where he's
It's got
threshold.
the
stuff like that. Yep.
wait. It's in the threshold.
Hmm?
An A
I
threshold. I'm
believe the
sorry. Is that what you
motel's in
said?
a
I'm sorry.
yeah. So okay. So what I call thresholds are the areas that Julie can like story walk to, like the ruins and stuff like that. So I believe that the motel is in a threshold. So you're gonna have to light up what Boyd did,
Like a hidden
or
place or
Julie's
something.
gonna have to story walk, and he's gonna end up going, and you're gonna see the hotel, and that's probably where the man in yellow or the witch stays.
Maybe Boyd can light his magic torch again.
That would be interesting.
I don't know I don't know how or what was gonna happen, but I'm pretty sure all the places where people have died, and she can. I think those are thresholds, and then she can just walk through time in those places. I think she's just starting with the ruins right now. I think she'll maybe use something else, and she's using Randall like as a crutch to pull her out. So I think she's gonna have to wear items from the timeline she needs to go to. For example, like uh like I said earlier, maybe she needs the Tabitha's bracelet, the one that's always reincarnated with everybody that Miranda makes every time, and the previous one before them. I believe that if Julie wears that bracelet, she'll travel back to that time. Is my opinion, and I
Right.
think the book that that Randall grabbed for her, I think one of them is just gonna. It might take her to a different place. I don't think it's gonna teach her how to story walk. From everything I remember Ethan saying in that story, it was the Lake of Tears and the magic fairies, and I don't know the whole entire story that's going to be in there, but I'm pretty sure it could take her to those times as well. That's what I think the books are for.
And I still want to hear what's in the Grand Gulagog, because we haven't heard that story yet. And so I'm hoping maybe there's something in there that'll inform what might happen later in the series.
Yeah. And what are your guys' theories with the books now that they have them? And I know Jackson, you were talking a little bit about it, but the watchers, I know because you're coming in now on the end of the stream a little bit, and we've kind of gone over some of these bits. But what do you think? Is she going to be able to get the books taken with her? Or the book's going to be a map? Just what are your thoughts on all that? And with Randall even and her
like
kind of paired together.
Yeah, I kind of like. Is that Jason? Did it say Jason? The words are so small. I like what he said. I think that Julie hasn't honed her skill set yet, and whether that's something that she hones by getting better at it, or does the book provide her with some information on how to better do it? Kind of reminds me of like how the X-Men or something like that went to Xavier's school, right? They went there, they had the powers, but they didn't have the skill set to control it yet, and he would kind of teach them how to do it. So either Julie's gonna
Exactly.
learn that skill set on her own, or those books are going to somehow provide her with some information or knowledge so that she can more utilize those skills in a fashion where it's not just so what's the word for it, so inconsistent and just kind of all over the place. And now she'll be able to direct her energy and her focus to try to accomplish whatever task she's trying to accomplish, instead of just story walking and just showing up different places. She'll actually be able to choose where she wants to go, and maybe have some meaningful events happen.
Yeah, it seems like that's maybe what she's going to try and do in the next episode.
The thing with those books is she just grabbed them. Another thing that I was thinking of is, how do you counter a story or a book that has been written already if you can't change the story? You write your own, right?
Mm-hmm.
So maybe she wrote the book, doesn't remember because she hasn't got her memories back, and she's the one that actually wrote the book to counter whatever this book is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw that somebody did a really cool video on that too. I saw on TikTok. It was really weird. It was like, what if she wrote the story in that, and that's how she's trying to counter it? Because I've always wondered, they keep saying like you can't change the story, right? And what if you can't necessarily, what if you can change it in that things may still happen, but maybe you can change the way they actually happen, if that makes sense. So somebody might, like we saw Jim die, she may be able to save him from dying that particular manner, but maybe she saves him, he dies another manner, or whatever the case would be. So you can kind of somewhat change it a little bit. We saw it with Boyd and the rope down the well and stuff like that. I would just be curious to know what would have happened to Boyd had she not been there to throw him that rope, if the story can't be changed.
I think he was always meant to be there to throw that rope. That was part of the story.
I mean,
That's
it
not
seems
something
like
that
this.
needed to go back to be changed. Go ahead.
Yeah, it seems like this version of time travel, essentially what Ethan said is that you can't change things that have already been written. So you can go back to the past, you can see things, but you can't necessarily change essentially what in your present is already part of your past. So all of her actions in the past are already essentially baked into the existing timeline. So she like always went back and threw the rope. She always went back and didn't save her dad. And all of those things were what got her to the kind of present moment in the future where she goes back and either throws the rope or fails to save her dad because essentially it already happened. So she's not really changing anything per se because it's already part of her past from her future perspective, if that sort of makes
Exactly.
sense. It's like it's what got her to the point at which she does the thing that she already did, essentially. Does that make
Agreed.
sense?
I agree.
Though as to how you could save the children that way, that I don't know. I mean, you can
Right.
at least maybe get information about, like the original maybe sacrifice, curse, bargain, whatever, and then maybe
Mhm.
find some way to in the future like undo that, or make some different bargain where the curse gets broken, or I don't know, but we'll have to see.
Well, I
It seems like
believe
they
I
know where
said
things are
this
going. But
earlier, and I believe. Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
I was just saying. I mean, it sounds like the writers know where they're going, so there's a particular ending that they have in mind. But we'll have to wait
I
and see
agree.
what it is.
I
Right.
think they
Yeah, no,
do.
they
I think they
definitely
know where
have
everything is going for sure.
yeah,
Do you guys
especially
think
with
it's
the
going to be a
story walking,
clean
the way
ending?
that they've showed the story walking, it seems like they have thought this through.
But do you guys think it's going to be a clean ending? We were talking about that on our live tonight. Like,
Nope.
I mean, they say that it's supposed to.
Clean as in like
where everything is like, I
Everybody
don't
is not
have
making it
tons of
free,
glory,
and
but
not
like whether
peaches
they
and
escape or they
cream.
don't escape. But like, I feel
No.
like it's going to end in a way where they could either continue this or it would leave us in a way where we want to see a prequel or something like that.
well, yeah, I could definitely see a prequel regardless of how they end it, but I think they're gonna end it. Now, is it gonna be dark in the sense like how they have to make it out? Because I think they're somehow gonna wrap it up in a sense that somebody's gonna make it out. I don't know if everyone will, but I feel like somebody's gonna make it out kind of to tell the tale. But this place I think will always exist. Maybe not this particular town, but this realm seems like it may always exist. I don't know.
Maybe,
I
maybe
agree
not.
with that. I think, in particularly, that realm is always going to be there. This is like Ragnarok. I think this is the end of the world, the battle of the gods, and all that stuff. Clash of the Titans type deal. At least symbolism. So I'm pretty sure, and this is, I had said this earlier. I don't know for the people that weren't in here, and you just mentioned how people may think, or what do they think the ending is going to be, and if it's going
Mhm.
to be dark, if we're going to get a happy ending, etc. We're not going to get a happy ending from what I've read so far in all the books about H.P. Lovecraft and everything that this is pertaining to, and the allegory on cave painting on the wall down there. I'm pretty sure that they're going to have to sacrifice 12 kids. I know I said this earlier. They're going to
Mhm.
have to sacrifice 12 children to complete the ritual, which means complete the story. And they can't do it because there's no kids in there. So at some particular point before now in season 5, after people get knocked off one by one throughout the season, we might get a school bus or some type of truck, just like how the Michigan traveling van truck came in and brought the other
Mhm.
residents. We might get something like that with a bus full of kids. And I'm thinking we need
I
at
mean, it's
least 12.
possible.
12 kids, I think. And Ethan should be one. So 11 kids total, with Ethan should be 12, which should complete the ritual that you see in the bottom right of the cave painting. You see all them, the 12 red little things that you pointed out earlier. That's
Right.
the ritual to close this place done. And in order to do that, you have to sacrifice all those kids. Elizabeth Saunders, which plays the actress that plays Donna, said
Mhm.
that when they find out what they have to do to go home, they don't want to leave.
Mhm.
And from everything that I've known so far and what I see coming, I don't see it happening any other way that would make them want to stay there. What would make them want to stay there after they've been trying to leave this so long? Well, that they don't want to do it. You know
I
what I
think they
mean?
have to break like
Besides,
the original story, what have you, like whatever the deal was that was made, they kind of all have to come to remembrance of what that was. And I don't
and
think
complete it.
everybody's gonna make it. No, I think it's already
Me
been
neither.
completed. That's what the original deal and pact was. They sacrificed their children. That was kind of what started them kind of trapped into this world like a curse.
The ritual wasn't complete. It wasn't complete.
I think it was.
The
I'm just
parent.
saying my theory. I mean, it
If you
might.
think it was, oh, okay, okay. I'm sorry. I thought you were talking. I thought you were just spitballing. I'm sorry. I apologize.
No, I'm just saying, like, I think the original contract was the ritual. That was when they sacrificed the original children. That was the contract. And the fact that Nkui is coming up for them to remember, and the boy in white saying, no, y'all are getting close, but you're running out of time, meaning that, yeah, the more they remember about this stuff, the further they get, just makes me believe that they, in order to finish appeasing the spirits and to break the curse, these people got to realize what they did. And that could include more of the townspeople. That's why certain townspeople have a connection and some don't. Possibly. Again, I don't know. I'm probably wrong about
I
all of it,
agree
but
with
that's
that.
just the where I kind of think they're going to have to all come to remembrance. And that Lake of Tears
Mhm.
could be a place of healing, because with healing, you have to go through your sorrows, right? You have all these sorrows and things, and part of your healing through trauma and or to deal with things, you have to kind of get through that. So that might be part of it, remembering and getting through the tragedies and the things that you caused, coming to terms with what you did, making amends for that. It might come with a lot of tears. It might, I don't know, a lot of suffering and sorrow and growth.
The Lake of Tears, I represents, in my opinion, a little portion of Greek mythology with the river called the Styx. And
Yeah.
I don't know if they're gonna have souls in this river, like the Ankui kid souls or whatever, but I'm pretty sure it's a wormhole or a bridge to reality or their reality or the other side, so to speak.
So then what was the lighthouse that allowed her to kind of possibly get into the real world?
So my theory is when she got to the lighthouse and was pushed out, she was pushed out into the lake. We just didn't see it.
So
That
when she
that
says
that
you need to
portal.
make it, so when she's telling Henry and stuff, she's like, no, the lighthouse is how we make it back home, which would be essentially, if you're saying to the Lake of Tears, or that was where the lake is, then why would they not want her to go? Why would they not be able to get back there?
Well, now, like this gentleman was saying earlier, the trees move. The portals might not be. When you throw in there, you might not get to the tower. For
Mm-hmm.
example, that could be a good theory. I don't know exactly personally what they're doing, but I can tell you that, or why the boy in white said you can't go through there no more. I have to lean more towards what he said, what his theory, because that makes the most sense to me. And if that's the case, they can't go through there. They're gonna have to go find another way, which is through the caves. If you see a map, like there's a map of the whole thing. And we've seen Victor's in the past. We've seen
Mm-hmm.
Victor's peace truck map.
Right.
If you look at the far right side of Fromville, you have once you have the barn and you go forward, it splits into the middle. You go into the forest, then you go into the caves where the kids are, and then you go to the settlement on top, which means you can get to the lighthouse going that way. And if you can't go on top, I mean, well, actually, they did get there on top, kind of, because the spider nest and took them, so they got close because that's where it's at, same area.
Well, they saw it like over the ridge. It was a little,
Yeah,
a
it was.
little,
Yeah, it was a ways away.
it was a little ways away. They could see it from where they were, but again, it was sitting on top of a ridge, shining
To,
down
to
on
let
where
you
they
to let you
were.
know that you're to let you know that you're close and it's in the same area. All that's in the same area, not too far from the
It looked like it was
settlement
a
where we see
little
the
way.
food.
They had a little trucking to get there. I wouldn't say it was his same area, yes, but it's perspective, because like it's kind of sitting up high, looking, and it's a
Kind
bigger
of seemed like
object
it
in
was
the
it was
light.
across a valley or
Yeah, like it would have been a good
distance.
truck.
Well, it's east. They're all east.
Yeah,
They're all on the east side. There you go.
Well, we don't know exactly where they got dragged to either.
yeah, we don't fully know. I mean, because
Like how
even
far
with
it was.
the peach truck map, it kind of shows possibly a spider web, but then again, when you get up there towards where the lighthouse is on that map, a lot of stuff is kind of like weird. It's got like warpy things and weird, like almost portally looking bits and stuff that's kind of smeared even. And
Yeah.
and they of course intentionally, so it makes it hard for us to fully, you know, make out if they, like, okay, it looks like a spider web, and then later we'll find out that it's something totally different. I'd see them doing that too.
I'm talking about when Sarah and Void got dragged in the tent.
Right, there's a spider
You know
web
how-
on the map, and it's close to the lighthouse. So I know what you're talking about where they got drugged to. Yeah, and it's actually
Oh, I
marked.
didn't even know there was
There's
a
like this
spider
little
web on the
white
map. I was just
spot
talking about the area.
there's a
Okay.
little white spot that almost looks like a spider web, depending on, again, its perspective and how you look at it. But it's close to the lighthouse on the Peach Truck map.
Yeah, it should be in between the settlement and the caves, in the middle.
I don't know if it shows that on the Peach Truck map, but it does show what I'm talking. I'd have to. It'd take me just a second. I gotta find that. I don't have that one right.
I can't do it now because I'm on my
Yeah,
phone,
that
but I got
shows
on my laptop. I got a bunch of pictures of the maps.
I mean,
and
I
stuff.
have
That's how I
files,
kinda figured
dude.
it
It's
out.
just
It's
I
like a
have to go
17.
through and find like the particular season. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh yeah,
I
that
got-
takes a lot. Yeah, don't do that.
I have it. I know I have like so many ridiculous. I just have to find that one, and I can't remember where my good one of the Peach Truck map is. Like, I have ones that are cut up where we kind of like we're cutting it up and zooming in and stuff. And I've got to go back and get a better one. I
can drop the link to the high-res version in the StreamYard chat if you want.
Let's see, because we're going to be wrapping up here, and I'll give us another 10 minutes or so, because we're going to do our members only stream in a little under an hour. So let's see.
That's the members or subscribers? They're
Members.
different, right?
Yeah.
From
For
the
members.
Discord or your channel.
Channel members.
Okay.
I dropped the link to the big map in the StreamYard chat if you want to look at it.
Oh my God, are you kidding? It's Reddit, and it's making me prove I'm not a bot. We're screwed. I'm AI. It's not going to let me access.
Happens to me all the time.
I just swear to God. Like, well, let's see. I've got one somewhere.
On Facebook, I have a lot of friends in real time around here and everywhere, and I got like 400 or 500 people. And every time I send it, they want to make sure I'm real, sending it to all these people at the same time. It's crazy.
It is something. They're gonna make it difficult on me.
Can I ask new watchers what his theory is on the crows? What he thinks about the crows? While you're looking.
Yeah, to be honest about it, I don't know anything. I don't have a really good theory. On our chat earlier today, somebody was saying that they feel like the crows are a good thing, and I don't know how. I don't really understand the rhyme and the reason. I know that when we saw that scene when the at the funeral, it did seem like the crows are kind of mocking them and wanted them to kind of go ahead and wrap up the funeral. And I don't know if that has something to do with Jim. You know, Jim was responsible for a lot of breakthroughs that we saw at the end of last season and this season, and because some of it had been to make the people go ahead and stop the funeral and move on with the eulogy. And move on and with the repast or whatnot, but I don't really have a great theory on what the crows are all about.
Now, it seemed to me like, I mean, we saw crows twice in that episode. One was at the funeral, but there's also one when Victor finds the man in yellow's jacket and starts freaking out, and then you see Crow kind of like sit on like the little ruin or whatever and starts calling at him. So it kind of feels like the crows are trying to warn them about the man in yellow essentially being in town. So I kind of think that they are, if you want to say, like minions or manifestations of the boy in white. In part because there's a painting in Miranda's basement of the boy in white that a lot of people have said the mouth kind of looks like a crow. And so it may be that they're kind of a manifestation of his, or kind of his mouthpiece or something. Whether or not it was intended that way in the painting, I don't know, but there's an argument sort of made there, maybe.
Watchers, are you familiar with anything by H.P. Lovecraft?
Did you say Lovecraft? Say that again.
Yeah,
H.P. Lovecraft. Are you familiar with any of his Cthulhu mytho characters like Cthulhu, Hastur, Nyarlathotep,
I bet you
Azathoth?
Candace would be. She's asleep though. Candace is all into that kind of stuff. But go ahead. What were you going to break it down with?
The crows. So Hastur, the Yellow King of Carcosa, which is Cthulhu's brother, he can control crows. Now, the black man that you see with the red eyes, That's a person called Neolepetep, which is a shapeshifter, trickster. They call him the crawling god, so he can go through all dimensions and do what he wants.
Mm.
And he just takes different avatars. And the man in black with red eyes is the avatar he chooses most. But in H.P. Lovecraft's work, they're the same entity. He uses Hastur, the Yellow King, as a avatar, and they both can control crows, meaning they're their eyes and ears. So I believe that's that character, whether the show is portraying them as the same or two separate entities. I think that crows are watching them, and it's one of those two.
It did seem like Sophia was not entirely happy about the crows being there. So I'm a little on the fence about it being.
I think Sophia's
the man in yellows.
Sophia's the ballerina monster. All these people from the last cycle, whether they're reincarnations of themselves from 1506, are doing the same thing. Everything is happening. We're just seeing what we didn't see now. And I think we're just like Randall, for example, might have a this is the man in yellow has a plan for him already. Marielle has a plan already, and Julie has a plan because those are three that got captured like Martin did, right? It happened in the cycle before that. The man in yellow may have became a monster, and that's his, just like everybody else in the town, but that's his version of the monster he became. So he's allowed to do that, while the other ones have to be like your Fae type, deep one creatures like in Lovecraft. And they would be known as your Nephilim or demigods, half god, half angel, half human. Those type of archetypes, because he combines all of their archetypes into one particular character that he creates, and then he just makes a bunch of them and creates the whole lore of religion, pretty much. And so I'm pretty sure them he's controlling them, and that's the main guy. And this gentleman said earlier that the writer said that the man in yellow is the big bad, and if he is truly the big bad, that means that his dark man, we'll call him the dark man, tall dark man, he's going to be the main guy. And they could be both, like Lovecraft's work, they both could be the same entities, and maybe they'll explain it or maybe they won't, and they're both doing the same thing. I think Sophia might have been the man in yellow's daughter, and she got cursed to be the ballerina monster. And then you have a story walker walking around from that time, and I think it has to be during Victor's era too, because the clothes don't seem like it's prior to that. So I think it's all Victor's cycle that these people are, or even Sophia, and we'll probably see more. Hopefully, before the season ends, we'll get some answers about her. But I don't think we're going to see her transform into the man in yellow till next season. To be honest, I think she's going to infiltrate this place all the way up into the last episode and just cause major internal mayhem.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And here it is. Okay, it wasn't white. I was confused with this little white waterfall thing over here, but here it is. All right, here's the lighthouse. And then right here with the two trees, if you look, it's really hard to tell it's black, but it almost looks like a spider web.
Yeah.
And then you get this weird entity looking thing with another portal that kind of seems like maybe where Tabitha went through. And then again, we have more shadowy weirdness here. We have, all right, this is, I believe, the Brundles. Here's Colony House over here. I believe this is the Brundles, but then this is the cellar. Behind the cellar, what is this? Because this is not the settlement. This is still like, here's the, where...
That could be the ruins, maybe? Not sure.
This is where Marielle is at in the elementary / a clinic. This is the cellar doors down here. So is that even, so that's, I think that's accurate, right? Because here's the ambulance. This is supposed to be the clinic. I don't know what this is. That could be the ruins of some kind. And then these scarecrow things are out and about, or totems. There's one here. This is the faraway tree. Supposedly that was probably outside of the colony house. There's another one of these like wooden figures there and over here. This one is circled. We have these weird white keyhole markers. this could be, like you were saying, threshold points, maybe.
Now, a long
If-
time ago, when we looked at this map, we were actually thinking those might have been places that Victor saw the boy in white. We weren't sure though. There's little kind of white pictures. There's one by the tree. There's one there. There's the one kind of by the house.
Well, you think about them like Jackson, you're talking about threshold points. I'm trying to think where. Okay, well, this is the motel, so I don't know. Yeah, that could be. Then that could just be the boy in white points. I was thinking motel, maybe, but the motel's right here.
But, yeah,
Never mind.
Sure.
Take that back. See, dang it. And of course, they show off weather patterns and things of that nature. Lots of numbers. We get lots of things with the tree. Here's some of the moon cycle possibilities.
And it looks like
Some
the
kind of
numbers-
tic-tac-toe.
Look at the map as if left is north, right is south,
All right, so
left is
never
west,
eat
and right
shredded
is east.
wheat. Got you. Never eat shredded wheat. Right? You said
Right, so you should have one in the yellow house should be in the middle, right? And
Wait,
then once you go to see, I can't really see too well, but that's pretty much how the town is. If you flip it, like if you would turn the map to the left, like twist it 90-degree angle to the left, if that makes sense.
what do you mean? Like, what are you trying to say? I'm sorry.
Like rotate it,
Oh,
Yeah, like if it was
Okay.
like if it was
inverted.
like if the right was on the bottom type of thing. That's how the layout would be. Like the left would be north instead of pointing west right now.
is it?
No, I'm saying if you would flip the map. I'm not saying to
Colony-
flip the
Colony
map.
house
but-
north of town though.
Are you saying the layout is not accurate? That it should be flipped?
I think it's accurate. I just think we're looking at it sideways. What is where's Colony House again? Can you point it out?
Right
It's
here.
right there by the two. I mean, I think
That's
it's
Colony
okay.
House.
By the yellow house right there on the bottom?
No, Colony.
No, I can't. By the black.
This is
dot part,
Colony
right?
House right here. I don't. Can you not? Is my cursor not showing it?
Yeah, I see
This
it.
is Colony House right here.
Right.
Okay, I see it now.
Above the church or whatever.
Yeah, here's the church. Here's the diner. Here's the motel.
The barn. Where's the barn?
It's the
It's just up to
barn
the right
over
of-
here.
More. It should be. It should be more that way, right?
It's right
Yeah,
here.
right over there. Yeah.
Okay, so then go. Okay, now go more to the right and past the barn.
Mm-hmm.
That's where
That's
it
right up
ends.
with that bottle tree.
Well, it just has a faraway
Oh.
tree. I don't know if it's a bottle tree. It's just showing a faraway
faraway
tree
tree.
over here. It doesn't show anything else. It shows the road that curves back around. It's the road. See, the road curves around. It's showing the road curving back around town.
Yeah,
And
so
then
we
it
need to go
shows
to
you
the
going
left
out,
more,
and it doesn't. Huh?
like to the top more. So once you go to the middle to the right, we everybody knows you see the tree. So now we got to go up. Because the map that I've seen was like not, it wasn't Victor's map. It's the one that they have that they made. It's not this particular one, but it's the same concept. I'm just trying to like look at the kid work and see if I can figure it out myself. On the very top, you see the two like planet together world, like a little circle,
Mm-hmm.
and in the middle, okay. Then you have the numbers to the right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all that is, yeah, it's not all on the other map. This is just Victor's interpretation of it. But in that area that I was talking about earlier, like the lighthouse, the settlement, and it's like all on the same side. Remember I said it was like all on the west side when we were talking about it? But I think that would be
I don't know
north
if
on
it's
this
on.
map,
Well,
right?
I don't know if it's on the west side or not because, like I said, you talked about the spider web they ran into. This right here between the two trees is the possible spider web, and it's not too far from the lighthouse. But the lighthouse is still sitting on top of a ridge looking down to where the spider webs are in the forest.
Right. So
This is the
the
spider
forest
web.
should be more down. Okay, yeah, right there and lower. That's where the forest would be, right?
This is the
So
forest.
that's where they got dragged
Right.
pretty much. by
The forest
spiders?
is above them to a degree and all around them. There's forest below them down here around the town. This is where they go into the forest. This is the cellar. where they, and this is Colony House. All of this is where they end up going, and this is the Brundles right here.
Okay, so that's where they gotta go, right? To the cave entrance on the bottom, go right where you see the Brundles down the middle. You see how the lighthouse is up, and there's a little kind of right by the square house with the X on it to the right of it. That's
Wait,
the cave
what?
entrance?
This
Right, yeah,
is
to your right, to the right.
this is the motel sign. This
And what
right
about the thing to
here,
the, yeah,
this is the
yeah,
cellar.
what's that? The root cellar, right?
That's the root cellar. Right here is
Okay,
where
so
the clinic
they gotta
is.
go through there. They gotta go through there underground to get to the tunnels and go in that direction underneath, probably where the kids are, where the monsters are, instead of going on top, and that'll lead to the lighthouse where they can all get to the lighthouse, and that's how I think they're gonna get out.
They
They
have
have
to
to
go
go
through the
that way.
cellar.
They're gonna have to go underground to the cellar because they're not gonna be able to go on top because you're gonna see the monsters and
Well,
stuff. So
there's
they gotta
two
go to the bottom.
entrances that we know of right now into the caves.
And they can't all use the tree, right? So they would have to find a way to use those two entrances to go home because the trees don't work or take them to the right spot or kill certain people. Correct?
I mean, I cannot confirm
So
or
do you think
deny.
the entrance into the tunnels, maybe like that's the entrance to the?
Honestly, I don't
To,
know. I mean, again, I think they have to kind of get everybody to figure out what parts have happened. Yes, I do think they need to go down into the caves in order to discover where the children were sacrificed. Again, get more of the bits of memory unlocked. But I don't know if it's exactly the way out. I'm not denying that it is. I don't know if it is.
is that's the way out? Yeah, I
I'm
agree.
not sure.
I think they all gotta make it to the lighthouse, and I think they gotta go to the cave. According to that map entrance, that's the only way to get there. Besides those two things, we're taking a tree. They're gonna
Like I
have
said,
to get
I'm
to the
not
lighthouse
sure.
somehow.
I'm not sure. What do you guys think, watchers?
I mean, I like what he's saying. I mean, it's. I mean, the thing about it is like a couple of things. Like I wish that we would get some answers on like those spider webs and what Boyd experienced. I like the idea of the caves. I've seen people say weird things um, like when we see those children being sacrificed and you look up and it looks like tree trunk. Some people say it is spider legs. So definitely they're gonna have to find some kind of way to avoid transversing, across land. It's way more dangerous. But I would be curious to know if they did take the tunnels, how would they circumvent whatever threats are down there as well? Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I don't
I
know.
I don't know either. I couldn't tell you like if they maybe Victor has to go down there since that's their boy. I'm not sure. Maybe the monsters won't be there at the time. I'm thinking this is what I'm thinking that needs to happen. There's going to be an eclipse eventually. We're going to see the massacre happen in real time. Through the
Mm-hmm.
previews, we already know Julie's going to story walk and give us a little glimpse of what happened. But we're going
Right.
to see what really happened to them in real time, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're all going to get massacred, right? We're only going to have a few survivors left.
Okay.
They're going to have to run and escape. They're not, so the monsters won't be in the tunnels. I think we're going to get an eclipse, right? If during the day the monsters will be out, nobody's in the tunnels. During the whole fiasco, they take off and run, and they separate and go wherever the heck they're gonna go. Maybe to the settlement, maybe the one goes to the caves, maybe one will go to the spider forest, and
Okay.
then they'll eventually have to go to that. They're eventually gonna have to get to the tower, to the lighthouse. I'm sorry, they're gonna have to eventually have
Mm-hmm.
to get there. Eventually, is what I think is gonna happen, and how they get there. If they all go to the bottom, the monsters won't be there. I think they'll all be out trying to kill whoever's out there, and that's
Mm-hmm.
the way they're able to get to the tunnels. But
And
I could be
what
wrong.
map is gonna how are they gonna navigate that? Because I mean, when Tabitha went there, they didn't. And again, that doesn't mean it's not there. I'm not saying it's not there. They didn't show us like an opening or anything for like a cave system. How are they gonna traverse through the caves? Because again, like the boy in white helped Victor a little bit, and even Jay tried to use string to find his way back, but he kind of stumbled
Hmm.
his way through.
And I think they used the little green army men too, so he wouldn't get lost. I remember that.
So how are they going to be able to navigate to
The
get?
map of, I like saying this. The map of the rainbow sky. The Lonely Dragon is gonna give him the maps of the Rainbow Sky, which is gonna lead them to the Lake of Tears, which is down in the caves. I'm thinking
Okay.
Acosta is gonna find something worth what looking
Maybe
at.
they'll find like
I,
an actual painting or something in there that
a
shows
painting, maybe an actual map, maybe something that symbolizes direction. I have no
like the
idea what they're
caves or
gonna find
something.
us.
Like maybe somebody did have some
And,
kind of
and you
book
know
or
what?
mapping of it.
I mean, my
Now that
my
I now
opinion
that
is
I
that
think
it's
about it, Boyd broke that wall down. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Boyd was breaking that wall with a sledgehammer in the trailer. That's where exactly where he's breaking the wall at. So whatever he finds is going to be behind that wall.
Well, I was curious because if it's Colony House, and like I was saying earlier, like we don't know if there's something down there, not just the items we see, but like a trap door or like, an old house, maybe
Right.
somebody behind a brick or something left an old journal, um, something like that. And it's not even so much that there's a lonely dragon, just that this place has,
No, she's
again,
the lonely dragon right now. Is what I'm saying. I'm not like not. She may not be Tien Jen. She like Lonely Dragon reference or Victor, but right now she's the
by the way,
lonely
I'm just
dragon
saying, I
who's gonna
think
find.
I totally would be on board with them finding something like in Colony House basement, not even within the items that we see stored there, but somewhere within the bricking or like a secret passageway or a hatch or something under a board somewhere like Boyd had stuff stashed.
Like Boyd found over there. Yeah, yes, I agree.
Like an old journal from the original colonist or something, or people, I don't know, something like that. I'm totally on board with that. But I want to get everybody's final thoughts because we have about 30 minutes before our members only stream starts. So we're going to wrap this one up here real soon and get ready to head over for that one. That way everybody has a chance to get a restroom break, drink refills, all those kind of bits. So we'll go down the line. I'm going to start with you, Mr. Watcher. Final thoughts going into the next episode. Mr. Watcher.
I'm trying to think.
And it's a lot.
Episode 3 was my least favorite of the season.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not one of those people that needs to see the monsters every episode. Some people are like, where are the monsters? Where are the monsters? I'm just looking forward to seeing the story continue to be pushed forward. Whenever I watch these shows, like I like the theories and I like the crazy stuff that goes on, but I'm also very curious about the interpersonal relationships of the people in the town. So I'm curious to see what Randall and Julie's relationship continues to be. I'm very curious to see what Sophia and Sarah's relationship is going to be.
Oh yeah.
Initially, I was always somewhat, I don't want to say suspect, but it seemed like to me Kenny spent a lot of time with Sophia and showed a lot of interest in her, which, with Sophia being the age that she was supposed to be, was a little weird. But I found it very interesting that Sophia wanted to live with Sarah. And I'm curious to see, is Sophia going to try to set Sarah up in some ways? Is she going to make it seem like she's trying to kill people or things like that in the town? Because we saw what happened when Tilly died. When they were interviewing people in the colony house, they said, why are you interviewing us? We know that there's a damn serial killer in the town. Why are we not interviewing her? And they're referring to Sarah. So I'm curious to see what how those relationships develop. And then also the relationship between Boyd and Officer Acosta.
Nice. Yeah, what was your rating? And again, it was kind of, a transitional episode. But what would you give the last episode if you had to rate it?
Yeah, so we do eye patches on our channel. So out of 5 eye patches, because we do eye patches for Elgin.
Oh shit, I love it.
So I gave it 3.5 eye patches. My wife initially gave it 2.5 eye patches, but then tonight she said she raised it to 3. So I gave it 3.5 eye patches out of 5.
Ooh, some tough critics. But I see why it compared to the other episodes, it definitely felt slower paced. Yeah. But I get it. I get it. And, Michael, what are your final thoughts? Rating, you can again give the rating to the last episode, and any final thoughts before we
wrap
it up.
As far as rating, I'd probably go somewhere in the 7.5 out of 10, something like that. It's a little slower than some of the others, but it's got some pretty good foreshadowing. I mean, they're definitely trying to set up for the next couple of episodes, which I think are going to have quite a bit of lore drops, because you have, Victor saw the man in yellow's jacket. He's starting to remember. He's going to dig up, the drawings. It's going to start probably having flashbacks. So we'll get some lore there. Episode 5 probably just going to have Jade, tripping out,
Right.
and so he's probably going to have some, lore backstory. Maybe start seeing his past lives. So hopefully we'll get some backstory there. We have Ethan kind of on the quest with Victor and I guess now Jade, trying to find the Lake of Tears, which in my opinion, if you look on the map just up to the left of the lighthouse, there's like kind of a bluish blobby looking thing. And then under that, there's kind of a white blobby looking thing. And I think that sort of matches up with one of Victor's drawings of the Lake of Tears, where you have this basically like floating eye with like teardrops under it. And then underneath that, you have a lake. And so I think those two things together might be referencing that Victor drawing. But this is kind of a crude drawing, so it's hard to tell. But just from the shape of it, it looked like there was like an eye with like some tears kind of, I think, coming down from sort of the right-hand side. So it just kind of looked similar. So I had that theory a little bit for a while.
And I wish I had a better photo of it. It gets real.
Yeah, just that up there.
Hard to see.
But yeah, if you look at the Lake of Tears drawing that Victor has, it's kind of a similar-ish shape. So maybe
see it.
I don't know. We'll see.
And it is going to be curious to see where the Lake of Tears is or what it is. And how I wonder if they will even not just leave, but will they get to save anybody who has passed away, or is it like Norman where Julie said, nope, the monster's already got him. They can't save him.
Dang good question. I just can't wait for Jade to trip balls and start giving us some backstory.
I know. I'm so ready for this next episode. Like I said, they set up a lot with several characters. I was going to say with Julie and Randall, and then you said Sarah and Sophia. You got Acosta doing her thing. Boyd's kind of going around setting things up with certain folks. You got Fatima and Elgin. And then, of course, Fatima and Ellis and him trying to kind of help her out with her trauma and getting some of that anger out, among so many other characters that are kind of getting set up for this next stage of events. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'll have to wait and see what they're building out of that pile of dirt or mud or whatever it is.
Or compost or who knows what.
Because in the trailer, it looked like she was like working with it, maybe trying to do a sculpture or something.
Like it was muddy.
Yeah.
At first I thought it was a therapeutic thing. Now I'm not so sure.
Hoping maybe she's trying to like remember what was in her vision from Smiley, what she saw making the bargain.
And will she make this weird shadowy crow figure?
Or something.
Right. Because I'm wondering, because it's not going to be maybe the man in yellow, because of course his full embodiment may not be that person as the man in yellow, as we see Sarah or Sophia changing to her. So I'm wondering if it's going to be
shadow
like
figure or something.
Right, like whatever the entity actually is, like its essence, embodiment. I don't know, not like its human self, but or, yeah, I don't know how to fully say that
or something.
Right. We'll see. What about you, Mr. Jackson? Final thoughts, rate the episode. What you got for us?
I'll give the episode a 7 out of 10. I thought we got some good information. They slowed it down a lot, which I really didn't care for, but we were able to get a lot of answers, I think, in my opinion, from that episode. Now, did you ask what I think was going to happen in the next episode?
Sure. I didn't specifically ask that, but yeah, like any thoughts that you have before we wrap it up, even on the next episode, that's fine.
In the next episode, everybody, I don't want to say everybody's seen the preview before I say anything.
Spoilers,
I don't want to spoil it for nobody.
If nobody wants to hear any of future things that are regards to the next episode from the released preview trailer, they've been warned. Go ahead.
Okay, so the man in yellow was caught by Julie in the previews eating somebody. So she's definitely gonna go back, and we're gonna see maybe not the whole massacre, but a little bit of it. I think she is the one that saves Victor, and that's how Victor survived this whole thing. I don't know if they're gonna show it, which I hopefully they do, but something's gonna happen during that story walking thing. Jade's gonna trip, and they already showed what he sees in the trailer. He sees a young version of him playing the violin. the Puritan guy with the stabbed in the eye, the Civil
Mhm.
War soldier, the bald gentleman that got crushed by the boulder. Jade, right? So then Jade himself would be six. So that's like 5 to 6 iterations of someone already that you see. They're playing the violin, so he's either
Man, I think that
tripping.
happens in episode 5.
Oh wait, is that from the spoil?
He,
Yeah, if that's
he's
not
gonna he's
from the
he's
recent
gonna
trailer, is it?
he's gonna
No, if you're
trip in
talking
this
about
one. I
wait,
think.
are you talking about that spoiled stuff?
I
Which
think
one?
so.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, be
Yeah,
careful because if
I
what
think
you're
that-
talking about might be the spoiled content,
I
not
think that
the
might have
stuff
been from
that's.
episode 5. I think.
I think Jade is gonna trip this episode.
Yeah,
I
but
think
I'm
you're seeing
saying
that
like,
in episode 5.
are you talking about what they released by accident?
Who is that? Because I've been seeing stuff. Who's
It was a,
MGM.
it was a
MGM
trip. It
actually.
was a trip. Okay.
No,
I'm sorry.
MGM released a trailer by accident before one of the episodes.
Yeah, and I think that was episode 5.
And it had some content. I think that what you're actually describing, the
Mhm.
trailer that was released for the next episode, episode 4, doesn't have that in there.
Right.
So what you're because
Okay.
Captain Stryver also referenced it last time. He got like he didn't know either, but no, that is a MGM leaked it by accident, from my understanding.
Yeah,
I have
and the
MGM
episode list-
Plus, so I get the previews right after the show, and I see it on there.
I didn't see
Yeah, she's
him.
talking about the multiple
letting you
Jades.
know.
She's talking
Yeah,
about
the
the
multiple-
multiple Jades. It's not in the
That's
recent
not
trailer.
in the recent trailer. It is not.
Jade tripping
Oh no,
is.
not the recent one. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Right.
But I think that all
And-
happens in this episode. I don't think it happens in episode 5. That's what I'm saying.
No, I'm
No, but I'm
I
saying
didn't know.
that content. I haven't seen any of that, and I try not to talk about
Right.
whatever that was, as far as the one that was leaked.
I'll just say non-spoilery. The episode list on Rotten Tomatoes lists episode 5 as the long strange trip, and gives the description of Boyd and Jade taking a mind-bending journey to try and get answers. So I'm pretty sure that stuff was from the season 5 leak trailer. And 4 is where Julie's trying to master her story walking.
I know from what they showed in the trailer release for the next episode, the actual preview for the next episode, it shows Jade with a childlike version of himself with the violin.
Right, and we've seen previously
Yes,
in the
that's
trailer
what I
the
thought.
kind of child version in the cave.
Okay, I was just
So
making
he
sure,
makes sense with
because
that.
you were saying the other variations with the violin. I was just making sure because
Yeah.
that was released in a mistaken trailer.
Yeah, that stuff I saw about a week ago, and that I'm pretty sure was spoiled.
Well, that little kid that he sees playing the violin, whether he's tripping or not by the thing, whether it ends in episode 4 and continues to episode 5, I think that's where he's going to start seeing his whole people.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's pretty much it. I didn't know anything, so like I only see what I get after the show on the app. And I've seen the trailer. I don't know if they put it all in one big trailer. I don't know, and they just gave it, or maybe they accidentally put it on there. But I saw it on MGM Plus.
Yeah, that's why I said MGM leaked it themselves by accident. Somebody
The trailers? Like, where are the
On their
trailers?
own website? That's crazy.
after the episode,
Like,
I
on that.
believe after episode, was it 2 release?
I thought I heard someone say it was after the first episode they like accidentally.
I know
It's something.
it was either 1 or 2. They accidentally released a preview trailer that was
Yeah.
probably for episode 4 or 5.
5, yeah.
Probably 5 now because we're where we're at. I'm saying at the time we didn't know it was a later episode, and they accidentally released it, I think, instead of the proper trailer preview. And so people who had MGM and watched the episode when it actually dropped, not on the app, but whatever Sunday at 8/7 or something like that. After it airs, then they have the preview. That's the only time you can usually see the
Yeah.
preview until later is after the episode airs, and then that's when it got released by accident by MGM.
Right. And I assume people
Okay,
probably
well-
recorded.
And so a
it
lot of
and
people
last
did
week or
see
something.
it. No, a lot of people saw it. And some people didn't even know that it was a mistake.
Right.
Because I didn't even see it. Because once I realized like people were talking about it, I didn't watch it at all. And then I got sent an image, and I didn't even realize that was from the trailer. I thought it was just some AI image of somebody trying to craft a theory, and they had put some things together. And I was just like, okay, I didn't really get it at the time, but now I realized, like, oh shit, okay, that's crazy. And it does. It sucks that MGM did that. MGM did that to themselves. It screwed it up for a lot of people because the folks who did watch it, it gave away, from my understanding, a lot of bits.
There are definitely a few things in there. One of the things was something we already pretty much knew, and they just confirmed it.
Right.
So that one wasn't really a huge anything.
And it's not your fault. I'm not mad at nobody because, again, MGM did that. I know some people in the chat really are prickly about spoilers. So I'm trying to make everybody happy. Look, man, it was a tough season last season with certain spoilers and stuff like that. And MGM kind of dropped the ball again with that one. So
it's worse this year.
It sucks.
Last time they did it they give you the synopsises and then the titles. They throw you. They can just give it away, and then now they're just putting it out there for like they're promoting the end or something. Make sure everybody gets here and watches this.
But James, any final thoughts? I know you've already rated the episode earlier in the week, but any final thoughts before we wrap it up?
Yeah, I just want to say, man, I know some of us may disagree on theories. I love them all, but I just feel really special being here with the Fromily and you guys. And I mean, you got some deep thoughts, all of you, Michael, Jackson, Sit and Spin did. It's exciting to talk to new watchers. I just want to say that I really enjoy it, and I appreciate all you guys for showing up and being here and talking about it, and I just love it. So love you guys.
Definitely fun chatting.
Oh, we love you too, James. See, Data, we love you, James. But yes, folks, we are going to wrap up this portion of our From Talk for tonight, but we will be right back literally in like 20 minutes for all of our members.
Is everybody's channel in the chat so I can reach out to people? Or how
I don't know if Vic's still in there. I don't know if anyone else on the panel has a channel. I think it's just me and James.
Oh, okay.
But
I do not.
But yeah, for all of our members, you guys,
everybody got on Discord? Does everybody have Discord?
Guys, I apologize. I do have to wrap it up though.
Oh, okay, good. Well, my name's the same thing on Discord if you want to look
Jackson,
it up.
Sweetie, I'm telling you, like, I've got less than 20 minutes to wrap this up and get over to my other stream. I've got to wrap this up, sweetie. I got to finish my bit saying goodbye to everybody to go head over to become a member and such. I apologize, but yeah, so you guys make sure to head over because we have we got some fun bits for you guys for the members tonight. We have some more From bits that I have gotten for you guys to check out, some clips. Plus, we got some tongue twisters for you guys. So if you want to learn how a clam can cram into a clean cream can, you guys are going to have to join us for our members only stream here in less than 20 minutes. So again, thank you guys all for hanging with us tonight. Everyone on panel, everyone in chat, all of you guys, all of the Fromily. And of course, we will be back tomorrow night on Dana's, where we will be watching the episode on our own devices, checking it out when it drops, so you guys can hang out with us and get our live reactions for that. And then Monday night, we will be back for our content creator roundtable discussion, where we will dive into the episode and hang out further with you guys. But again, thank you all for hanging. We love everybody. Be safe, and we'll see all of our members here real soon. Bye, everybody.
The man in the it down.